AT&T Jones Stadium, Lubbock, Texas, West Virginia, Texas Tech. This is going to be fun. Final day of the Big 12 regular season. Two teams already bowl eligible, but man, crazy times in the Big 12 when you take a look at what's been happening all season long. We got perfect football weather here. Final day of November, 51 degrees. We got wind 12 miles an hour. We'll keep a close eye on that.
Well, the winds of change are blowing, to be sure. And again, it's not just on the field. The elements, I think, is going to be a big factor. You know, this team right here in West Virginia, Neil Brown has been outstanding the way he's reclaimed them. He got a win at home, which was really important again against UCF. That was a big-time win for this program to finish on that winning note. I always say, Eric, that the last element of recency is important. The thing you do last is what people tend to remember most. And to get that win at home was a big one for them.
We have already had the coin toss, and West Virginia won the toss and said, we want the football. They want to continue that momentum from a week ago. Both sides should have momentum. Both won last week. West Virginia took down UCF. Texas Tech won on the road against Oklahoma State.
Eric, can't say enough about what Zach Kittley has done offensively. The coordinator for Texas Tech, he has been on fire. I think last week against Oklahoma State on the road was his best showing, distributing the ball to all the weapons he's got. He's got a ton of them. You'll see them this afternoon.
Preston Fox is back deep to receive the kickoff.
Preston sporting that club on that right hand. That's not on his foot.
Here we go. And the kick will go through the end zone. It'll be a touchback. Because we're talking about weather and conditions, we should mention that West Virginia is going to be going into the wind, Spencer.
Well, it's going to be tough, again, in any contest. If you've ever been to Lubbock, Texas, believe me, it's flat out there, folks. You got oil derricks and windmills and all that good stuff, and you can look at those flags. They're taught for a reason. Nothing to obstruct that wind coming.
Garrett Green, those are his season numbers. He is equally dangerous with his arm and, of course, with his legs. 27 career rushing touchdowns for the senior from Tallahassee, Florida. And, of course, he wants to throw. On first down, out of the backfield, this is C.J. Donaldson. And Donaldson with a nice gain. That'll be a first down of 15 yards on the catch and run.
Yeah, Eric, CJ's the bigger of the two backs they've got. We talked about, Jaheim White being the contrasting style. They'll get it to him. Intermediate passes between 4 and 8 yards is where this quarterback thrives. That was an example right there. Now a manageable scenario.
Designed quarterback run. We'll see a lot of that. Garrett Green is jumped on after a gain of about a yard. Marion Horn. Take a look at the offensive line for West Virginia. We highlight Brandon Yates, folks, because this is his 60th game as a Mountaineer. That is a new school record. That is worthy of a tip of the cap. Best part of the line probably is the left side with Milam and Remack. Skill position guys, we're going to see a lot of Jaheim White. We'll see equal amounts C.J. Donaldson. Dangerous tight end and Cole Taylor.
Oh, boy. They've got some assets, too, coming on this bunch formation and putting them in motion.
Second down carry. This is Donaldson. Another short gain. It's going to bring up third down and long. For Texas Tech defensively, they're missing some thunder up front. No DeBraylon Carroll, no Quincy Ledet. That means you're going to have starters in Hansen and Rigsby up front. Jacob Rodriguez leads the team in tackles by a wide margin. He's a big play waiting to happen. Had a touchdown on a fumble recovery a week ago. And then the defensive backfield, Lux, Chapman, Baskerville, and Horn.
And Eric, in our time with Tim DeRuyter, the defensive coordinator for Texas Tech, that was a big blow. You're talking about your nose tackle and what we call an under tackle in the middle of that defense. I'm not going to be shocked if West Virginia tries to attack that area.
On third down, they throw short to Donaldson and ask him to make a play. And he does.
Like the philosophy, man, the bottom line is this is an extension of their run game. Notice they're not trying to ask him to go downfield, nor are they asking this West Virginia offensive line to protect that long. They get it out horizontal, get you in space, a man on every hat opposite, and let Donaldson Jr. do his work. And he does a wonderful job of taking an improbable long down scenario and converting it.
Good job of blocking by the wideout, Rodney Gallagher, out in space. That freed up Donaldson for the 9-yard gain. Another designed quarterback run. Green is stood up and pushed out of bounds. C.J. Baskerville with the tackle. Gain of 5.
I love what they're doing with the little counter action here. And these big old offensive linemen, they'll come and counter step out of that formation and then get downhill. And the quarterback's got to get in their hip pocket.
Look at how quickly the Mountaineers want to play. Donaldson. This time will be 3rd down and short. Braylon Rigsby credited with the tackle.
Eric, you bring up a good point. They're going to go pace and tempo. West Virginia will, as long as they're either even or in the hip pocket of Texas Tech. What they don't want to do is be trailing and having to go pace and tempo, because that puts them in a scenario where they're doing the thing that they're not the greatest at, and that's passing the football. They want to stay in their wheelhouse in the run game.
Last week, West Virginia dominated time of possession in their win against UCF. 3 minutes into our game.
They got to get set here.
Gallagher and Robinson both changed sides. And now Gallagher again in motion. Gallagher's got it. Nowhere to go. Brought down by John Curry.
Well, John Curry came from his deep position, man. Watch him just come with all intentionality from this deep position. Look at Rodriguez's opposite of him. They're going to come right downhill here and just shoot that gap. It's not really wide, but it's moving, floating. To be able to do that and shuffle sideways and show that athleticism to make that play in space is what you need.
Okay, both sides very aggressive on 4th down, and we're going to see it. Neil Brown on 4th and 5 keeps the offense out there.
Man, this is a gamble right here, man. Maybe they're going to try to draw him off sides. This is not what they do best.
And whistles. We have a timeout called by Texas Tech.
Well, Tim DeRuyter says, look, they don't usually do this, so we're going to evaluate this. And you don't have time, Eric, to consult the statistics and the data and the analytics on this one. So when it starts to look funky, it's better to call the timeout early on and not let them get explosive on you.
Now Joey McGuire, he is the head coach for Texas Tech, now in his 3rd year. He would love to get every possible win. It is so important as he grows this program back to what he thinks it should be. He would love to get to 8-4, which is a win today would get them a bowl game win. All of a sudden you're talking a 9-win season and close to uncharted waters for Texas Tech.
Absolutely. When you start to combine the fact that since Joey's come on board, those 3 years, they've had winning conference records in each one of those years. That's something that hadn't been done since they became a member of this conference, and that's a big deal because, you know, he's an icon. If those of you that have been around Texas sport knows that I've been around for a long time, he is an icon. They absolutely love him. Absolutely.
Texas High School Hall of Famer.
He, along with other guys like D.W. Rutledge, high school coaches, are legends, man. And this is going to help them on a recruiting trail if they can get a win here.
After the Texas Tech timeout, 4th and 5 for the Mountaineers. Gallagher's in motion. Quick hitter, dropped. Oh, Hudson Clement dropped the ball. Would have been a 1st down.
Yeah, but that's not Hudson's fault. You know, he put it on that back shoulder. Hudson is open, and you're going to see him come down and over. Watch where this ball is going to be placed. On his back shoulder. He has to turn, and he can't sit that down. It's zone coverage. There's no way that ball should have been put back there. That's the difference.
Okay, so West Virginia cannot score. When we come back, the red-hot Red Raider offense takes the field. Baron Morton, the junior quarterback from Eastland, Texas, has had a really good year, knocking on the door of 3,000 yards passing. Could get to 3,000 with a drive right here. Little quick hitter, pass is complete. That is the tight end, Jalen Conyers.
Yeah, you're going to see a lot from the redshirt senior transfer, man. This guy right there is going to pace and tempo. Baron Morton is at his best when they go fast.
And going fast on 2nd down. This is Taj Brooks.
Nice.
The all-time leading rusher in the history of Texas Tech football has a 1st down for the Red Raiders.
Eric, you and I are just talking how much of a luxury it is to have an all-time leading rusher to go with all these offensive weapons out here at receiver and tight end.
We're about 20 seconds into this possession, and already 3 plays have been run. Catch made by Coy Aiken. And that'll get inside the 30-yard line.
So look what Zach Keatley, the offensive coordinator for Texas Tech, is doing. He's painting the field, right? Inside zone read, and I'm going to go to the right, and let me come back to the left. He's making West Virginia cover the entire breadth of the field in under a series here.
Pump fake. Morton looking at option number 3 now.
Nice.
And it's complete to Conyers. 2nd grab for the tight end inside the 20.
Eric, he's such a nightmare matchup for any defensive back, and even linebackers have a tough time bringing this guy down once he gets downfield. And you go to his 6'9" complement on the other side, that's just impossible.
And Mason Tharp is a weapon too. And this is Conyers running the football.
How about that?
Conyers is a senior playing his final home game at Jones AT&T Stadium. Here's the line up front: Buchanan, Porcher, Wilson, Carter, and Rogers. Skill position, and there is a lot of skill. Taj Brooks, what else can you say? Another 1,000-yard season. Kelly's had a revelation in his only year as a Red Raider. And 2 tight ends, Tharp and Conyers, both difficult guards. 3rd down catch, complete for the 1st down, Josh Kelly.
Now you contrast that style to what his counterpart Green did on his back shoulder throw that was incomplete. Watch where this ball is placed. Again, the eyes upfield on the inside, but away from where the defender is. And so Joseph doesn't have a chance to defend that ball because of where it's placed, low and down and away. Excellent pitch and catch.
8-yard gain on 3rd down. They fake it to Brooks, looking to the end zone. Incomplete, looking for Aiken.
Garrett Hollis back there, the right cornerback. He had nice coverage, Eric. I really like the fact that he's playing him inside out. Now, he doesn't get his head around, so that's problematic, but at least he's got the boundary and the out of bounds to kind of protect him, right? If you're in open field and official doesn't see you turn your head around, if there's contact, they may be tempted to get that laundry out, and you don't want that.
2nd down and 10. And Morton throws it away. Let's see if West Virginia can stiffen a bit here.
Yeah, I'll give Jeff Kuntz some credit, the defensive coordinator for West Virginia, stiffening up as they get in the red area.
Martin, he is the guy that everyone talks about. He's been really good for a while. Senior from Bluefield, West Virginia, 3.5 sacks. Linebackers, Tyron Bradley's a fun story. Number 8, he is a Lubbock native, went to Monterey High School. He is returning to Lubbock to take on the Red Raiders. We'll keep an eye on number 8 all game long. Morton on 3rd down. Oh, my goodness. Tharp caught it, but he's out of bounds. That is a 6'9" human being who one-handed it but couldn't keep the feet in bounds.
A couple of years ago, I didn't know how much athleticism this kid has grown. Watch him go up and climb the ladder. You don't have to go up too high at 6'9". That hand, one-hander, Mather, he brings that thing down and controls it.
I don't know.
Man.
I don't know. He may have gotten that right foot in.
You know, we saw a similar catch like that last week where a guy controlled it with one hand, and wow, I think that deserves another look.
Okay. And now here's the whistle. And now here's the whistle.
Yeah, but that's just an outstanding catch right there. And Jordan McGuire saying, look, if we got a chance to look at that thing again, we see them make those routine catches all the time. This kid is a freak, man. You will not find another matchup nightmare like this guy. 6'9", 270.
Is challenging the ruling on the field of an incomplete pass. Previous play is under review.
Michael Vandervelt is our referee wearing that white hat.
So now this first look is going to be shaded because of the dark in that part of the stadium. And again, the hand goes up. You can see that toe. I think if you look at the rubber crumbs, is what they call the rubber crumbs, when they kick up, can you see them against the white of his shoe? Now, why that's important is because the white line is right after it. I saw the crumbs come up, which indicate to me his foot is in the end zone, not on the white line. So, again, here's another look. See if we can get close in there. Ah, man, I think that toe was in, bro.
I do, too.
And it's not an issue of control. It's not an issue of control. He has control. We had that last week.
All right, Dean Blandino is our rules official. Dean, you had a chance to take a look at this like we did. What do you think?
I think Spencer mentioned control, and I think that's what they're looking at. Does he stick the catch? Does he have it? Because the toe, you can see the toe taps right there. I think initially replay's looking at, okay, is that ball moving? When does he gain? The rule book says firm control. To me, I think I like this as a catch. I think he has it now. He's bringing it to his body. He's controlling that ball as he brings it to his body. You see the toe tap. To me, this is a touchdown.
Thank you, Dean. Yeah, it's amazing what you can do when you're 6'9" and you have this huge hands of quickly controlling a ball with one hand.
I'm amazed at what Dean can do and articulating as clearly as he can, man. Exactly what happened. I mean, I tried to say it that way. I can't say it. He nailed it. It's exactly what I saw, man. It's impressive.
And, oh, by the way, he's a handsome man.
Yeah, he looks great.
Complete package. All right, so they're still looking at this. The call on the field was incomplete. Do we have indisputable video evidence to overturn? There's the one-handed catch with the fingers.
Mm-hmm.
And there's the toe tap, which we believe, at least appears to us, to be in the field of play.
I don't know how much impact it has on the judgment, but yeah. But to Dino's comment, he shows control, and his head is actually looking at his hand the whole time. To be able to marry all of those pieces, your head, your legs, and your arms together to get the outcome that you want, I think is just indicative of the assets that they have at tight end, which we talked about at the open of the show. This is an impressive group. Tharp looking like Jim Thorpe out there.
You're right.
He's great talent, man.
All right, final day of the regular season. I guess no one's in a hurry to go anywhere. This replay taking a bit.
Well, they deserve to look at it. You know, these teams work hard. I don't want to give points away.
After review, ruling on the field stands as called.
Wow.
It's an incomplete pass.
Wow.
Texas Tech is charged a timeout and will have no remaining challenges for the game.
For the game.
Wow.
So, wow, that's tough. Well, you need indisputable video evidence, and I guess the word indisputable is key there. But what stinks about that is 30 years from now, no one will see that catch ever again because it's a non-catch.
That's right.
If that had been a touchdown, that would be on highlight reels.
Oh, it made the annals, no question.
Yeah. So I do feel for Mason Tharp. After much delay, the 32-yard field goal by Gino Garcia is true. Not a surprise. Garcia's had a magical year. He's now 16% settle for the 3, not the 7 they were hoping for. But they take the first lead of our game, 10 plays, 2 minutes, 37 seconds, resulting in the Gino Garcia field goal.
Well, Joey McGuire challenged that, rightfully so, that call that you just referenced, Eric. And I think, you know, listen, we don't have any more challenges for the remainder of this game, but I think that was worth it early on to set the tempo, to put yourself in a position where you could get on score. Because I think whoever scores first is in a strong position of advantage in a contest like this. The tacos are flying, baby.
Another touchback, second of our first quarter. And, well, this is a three-pronged attack here. Jaheim White, Garrett Green, the quarterback, and C.J. Donaldson, the only FBS team with 3 600-yard rushers.
Well, I love this mix, right? Because I'm an old running back, right? And when you listen to what, you know, Chad Scott, their offensive coordinator, talks about, he's an old running back who happens to be an offensive coordinator now, which is rare. You don't see guys matriculate through that running back lane to become offensive coordinators. This is usually their quarterback or wide receivers. But he knows he has something special right there, and he uses them to their full ability.
Gallagher goes in motion. This time the carry.
Oh, nice.
This is White. And White still on his feet out across the 35.
I'll tell you what, White just put a move on Dantes Fagan, who's a pretty athletic guy right here in the back. I'm sorry, on the back end. He does a wonderful job. Watch him in space right there. Just make the guy miss in open territory. That was Jacob Rodriguez checked that on. And then Roberts was in the backside of them as well. Washington was up front. So these backs, you saw a little bit of the contrasting style that they have right there. One is a heavy runner. The other one is a lot more fluid.
White listed 5'7", 191 from York, Pennsylvania. Green. Oh, that's diagnosed beautifully. The catch is made by Preston Fox, but the moment he touched it, he's wrapped up by C.J. Baskerville.
Well, CJ's the strong safety, right? And he comes, the senior, shows you some of that wisdom he displayed, not fooled at all by the little counter motion by the guard. They do a great job as West Virginia making their plays mirror one another or look the same. He's not reading any of it. He's true to his read and discernment off the top and made a great play defensively.
So now, for the first time really in our ball game, we have a huddle and someone actually taking some time, getting ready to run a play.
Well, it's 2nd and 10, and that's why you're doing it, because they're having to do something, throwing it, that's not in their wheelhouse, the best thing that they do.
And is this a delay of game, or did we get the timeout?
Prior to the delay of game, West Virginia has called their first charge timeout.
All right, so Neil
30
Brown
seconds in length.
saves the 5-yard penalty.
Timeout on the field.
Neil Brown's got some connections to Lubbock. We'll have that story when we come back. 6:58 remaining in our first quarter. Told you that Neil Brown's got a connection here to Lubbock, Texas. He was the offensive coordinator for 3 years, 2010 through 2012, with Texas Tech back when Mike Leach had just left and Tommy Tuberville took over. So Tommy Tuberville hired Neil Brown to be his OC, and that's one of the spots where Neil Brown kind of created his name in the college football world.
And Eric, it was that NASCAR offense, if you remember, everybody had to have speed to get up to the line of scrimmage, including the offensive linemen, and that's really what set him apart. He had great success during that 2-year stretch.
Second down play. Very patient run for White, and it pays off in spades. Look at Jaheim go inside the 40. I thought he was going to be wrapped up at the line of scrimmage.
Well, you've heard me say this in these situations, Eric, over the years, and here's what smoke through a keyhole looks right here. Watch Jaheim White come through there and squeeze right between two would-be defenders. He faked everybody out, including our camera guys. You know, he's just wonderful, man. In close quarters like that, it's really tough to get that guy down.
Gain of 25 yards. White now over 700 yards in his season. Green by himself in the backfield. That catch is made. So Hudson Clement, who dropped his first opportunity, able to make this catch.
And if we're being critical, you know, Clements had to make a great catch and climb the ladder on this one. Watch how high and away this ball is placed, right? He's got to go up and climb the ladder, and it really leaves. It's a great thing that it's a zone coverage, right? So that means it's soft. There's like 10 yards between anybody to the left or right, and maybe 4 yards deep of the closest defender. But if that ball's anyplace else against man coverage, you got some rib shot waiting for you to happen, man. Got to be more accurate with those throws.
37th catch on the year for Clement. Started his career as a walk-on. Now a vital part of what they do. White. Gain of a yard. James Hansen getting an opportunity. One of the tackle spots.
I'm being generous. Jaheim White is probably maybe 5'8", maybe 5'8", 190 pounds. He's muscular, put together. But man, anytime a guy that small, Eric, comes off the ground, not a lot of good things happen. The physics isn't in your favor. He's a small cat, man, but he sure is good when he's got his feet on the ground.
They gave him 2 yards, so it's 2nd down and 8.
They like this tandem movement. They're trying to affect the back end coverage for Texas Tech, but Tech is staying in a cover 2 shell look.
Unabated to the quarterback, and down goes Green. That's Jacob Rodriguez doing his thing.
Well, Jacob Rodriguez hell-bent for election on this play, and again, he will be the one spying him as well. Rodriguez comes on this side right here. You can see number 10. He is the will or the weak side linebacker. That's a short end of the field in the line of scrimmage, so the path from him to the quarterback is shorter. He's got the speed to make that time go quick as a hiccup, man. That guy is special right there.
Now, Tim DeRuiter, the defensive coordinator, understanding that he'd like to get West Virginia out of field goal range. That knocks them back a spell. It's ball on the 34-yard line and a 3rd and 18.
So now West Virginia 3rd and 18 playing left-handed.
Green. Flushed. Complete, but just really not much of anything. A gain of 5. And now it's going to be a long field goal opportunity for West Virginia.
Yeah, it's just so obvious. You know, Garrett Green's a great quarterback in terms of doing what he does. But when his eyes at his height, around 5'10"-ish, 5 maybe, his height, he doesn't see downfield well. So he gets outside of that pocket and has to run. And, you know, Chad Scott, his offensive coordinator, knows that. So he tries to work him on the boundaries to get him outside the pocket. But he knows he can't sit in there, you know, forever and try to complete passes.
All right, Michael Hayes the second will come on, and we have a stoppage.
Eric, I wonder if he's out of bounds this catch. You know, just look at the right leg and see if it's already out. He's already out of bounds.
Oh, my goodness, yes.
He's out. So there should be no question that that ball should be back at the original line of scrimmage.
That's a big deal for West Virginia.
Yep, huge. Well, Neil's not going to challenge it.
Oh my goodness.
He's clearly out.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the side judge was looking at. Maybe he was just looking for the completion. He just walks straight to that spot and puts his foot down, man. Like he saw it's complete. Wow. Well, they got a tough job, though.
Well, at all times you're looking, is it a catch, is it inbounds?
Oh, yeah.
You're looking at 2 different spots at the same time.
And you can see how that can happen. You know, if you're looking to see, you know, with one play already, which is in question today, whether or not it was a completed catch, maybe your mindset is, okay, let's hunker down on that aspect of the process, and you can miss those calls.
So while we have a moment,
after review, it's an incomplete pass. It'll be 4th down at the 34-yard line.
So that's going to march West Virginia back. And how creative do they want to get with a bomb of a field goal? Looks like the field goal unit's still on. So Michael Hayes, who is 11 for 12 on the year, his only miss being a 38-yarder. He's going to attempt a 52-yard field goal.
Wow. You listen, you can't argue with that. I mean, the way this game has gone so far.
Remember, this kick is going to be into the wind. Into the wind from 52. 12-mile-an-hour wind.
Oh.
Did he? You bet. Good golly. All right. Some thunder in that right leg. Michael Hayes now 12 for 13 on the year. Field goal attempts. And that a 52-yard bomb to tie the game at 3-up. Long for Michael Hayes. 52-yard field goal. Remember, he was thinking when he got onto the field it was going to be a 45-yard attempt, but they ruled the pass completion and incompletion, and they marched him back. So the 52-yarder, a new personal high for Michael Hayes.
And if you're Neil Brown, you can coach this thing a little bit different. What you say to your team, you know, hey, look, this is the bunch last week that just rang up over half 100 against Oklahoma State, and guys, it's 3-0 at their place. So we are 3-3 at their place. We're tied at them.
Starting from the end line, Jacoby Williams. And slipping and falling.
I'm going to take you to school real quick on this one. When you're if you're at home playing Pop Warner football and you want to go to your right, the last thing you want to do is to plant on your right foot across your body.
Yeah, not going to work.
It just violates all mechanics and physics. If you want to go to your right, make sure you plant on your left foot opposite and then step in that opposite direction. Keep your weight underneath you, and you'll stay upright.
Taj Brooks knows that. No one has run for more yards in the history of Texas Tech football than Taj Brooks, the senior from Manor, Texas. Morton throws on 1st down. This is Aiken with a catch. Tackled in the field of play. Dantes Fagan.
Well, I tell you, I really love Dantes Fagan. I mean, they're going to go pace and tempo here, but Fagan is a guy that can play in man coverage. He loves to play it outside. He knows he's got inside help, short side of the field. That guy right there can defend.
Another quick hitter, this time to the right side. Catch is made by Josh Kelly. And Kelly out to the 45-yard line. He is hit while he is on the white, and I think that's going to tack on some yardage.
I think Josiah Trotter, the Will linebacker, is the one that's going to get hammered for this one. Number 40, you know, you watch him come out here, and he's going to come in late to your screen after 3 misses, and then here comes 40. He comes in there, and the Trotter just, that guy's all out of bounds. He's clearly a 1.5 foot or more out of bounds, takes 3 or 4 steps.
After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, late hit out of bounds. Number 40, defense, 15-yard penalty will be added to the end of the run. Automatic, 1st down.
For those who don't know, famous name Trotter from our linebacker. Yeah, he is related. His dad, Jeremiah Trotter.
Absolutely, great player. Of course, I remember from my cousin Vinny, the late Fred Gwynn, used to say, Mr. Trotter. I don't know if you remember that scene or not. It was one of the great
I remember the movie, but that's that specific scene.
That and the Ute scene was the
Oh,
best
yeah, I know that scene. That's the famous one. So it's a 20-yard gain, and then you add 15 yards to it. And Texas Tech is cooking with gas.
So is Neil Brown. He's cooking with gas. He's not happy.
Clock stop, 3:15 remaining in our first quarter. Ball's at the 45-yard line. We had the delay with Jaheim Joseph being helped off to the sideline for West Virginia.
Nice.
Another beautiful toss. Morton finds the streaking Kelly, and Kelly stumbles at the 5-yard line.
I love what they've done here. Everybody's mindful of the fact that Texas Tech has got 28 back there in the backfield, so they were able to force West Virginia into a single high safety look, and that's Israel Boyce, number 18, that's back on an island trying to close on a guy that's far more athletic in open space. That's no small task.
41 yards on that play. Now here comes the power. Brooks, did he?
I think his backside was down, and the side judge got it. But what I'm telling you, it gives you a glimpse of what they can do. Inside, outside, ground game, throw game.
And again, even though they're knocking on the doorstep, they're going to go back to the line of scrimmage quickly.
Nice feed.
And the keeper, bad idea for Morton. He took the ball away from Brooks and loses 4 yards.
Well, maybe we could take a look at the read. You know, this is the read down here, the end. If that end closes, you got to – he's not actually reading the backside end. Possibly he should have given – he was reading the front side end. Not quite sure exactly what happened on that side, but it was the unblocked left side or weak side that got to him.
And it's the local kid, Tyron Bradley, Monterey High School in Lubbock, who blew that one up along with Reed Carrico. So now Texas Tech a little bit slower as they think about it. It's 3rd and goal from the 5. Tharp always a huge deal here. He's 6'9", number 80. Incomplete in the direction of Caleb Douglas. Are they going to settle for a field goal?
I'll tell you what, here's pressure coming again. Jeff Kuntz has done a wonderful job orchestrating this defense, trying to get some orbit motion in to kind of affect some of the speed and aggressiveness. Trotter, perhaps a little bit miffed, about ready to lose his pants too. A little bit miffed at the last play. He comes back in there, man, making amends.
Mason Tharp actually wasn't on the field for that play. How can you have a goal line situation with a 6'9" tight end and not have a possibility?
He had a great corner catch last week using some of that length.
So the 23-yard field goal is true. Garcia now 17 out of 18 on his season. And it is a 6-3 lead. Texas Tech on top of West Virginia. 1:28 remaining in our first quarter. We'll keep it here.
Well, I'll tell you, arguably, Texas Tech has been on the doorstep of the red area a couple of times now, so maybe this lead should be a little bit more than it is, but you got to give Jeff Kuntz and the defensive staff some plaudits because of what they've done. They've been outstanding. The red zone, Eric, is so difficult to score because everything gets compressed, right? And we know that. But how it manifests itself in the way you execute is really where the rubber meets the road. And guys got it down here, got to know there's no margin for error. Every pass has got to be deft. Every step that you make has got to be on point, understanding what the concepts are behind the design. If you deviate from any of that, chances are you're not going to have success in the red area. Those old 49er teams, we were on 89% of the time we scored touchdowns once we got inside the 20. Still a record in the NFL today.
Point of emphasis, Bill Walsh.
Yep, absolutely.
Yep.
It's all about execution. He conditioned us to do that.
3rd straight touchback. So West Virginia will take over. Garrett Green, senior quarterback. First time. Took the football across the 50, had to give the ball up on downs. Miscommunication, Green and Clement. Passed a little bit behind Clement. Clement couldn't hold on to it. And most recent possession resulting in that 52-yard field goal.
I absolutely love Green, man. This guy's got some, not just the will to compete. He's a smaller guy. He's got that. You remember Wayne Corbett, New York Jets, way back in the day? Hofstra. Yeah. Hofstra College. This guy's got some of that same DNA, right? It's blood or bone with his guy. He's going to be out there no matter what.
Interesting you say blood or bone. That was his dad's mantra.
Yep, sure was.
He said, you can only come out of a game if I see blood or if I see bone. And he modified it to head injuries, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
For the most part, you go out there and you compete, son. And his dad knows what he's talking about. Athletic, former Major League Baseball catcher, number of organizations. Charlie Green, currently bullpen coach in Milwaukee.
Absolutely. You get that kind of DNA in your blood, man. It's kind of hard to deviate and not be that.
Gallagher goes in motion. That's a theme. Almost every play he's in motion. High snap may have disrupted things as White is set upon. Jaden Cofield, the tackle.
Jaden Cofield gets back there really quick, and then, the back end of that play, they're playing what I call a no-read scheme there, where they're not really looking at the quarterback. They're going to tackle that first dive or that first mesh point no matter what. And I think it's a great scheme. It was started by the late John Blake many years ago to deal with the option game. And he came back and perfected. You're still doing it.
3rd down and 5. West Virginia trying to stay on the field offensively. Pressure, and they beat it. This is Gallagher. He's got enough for the first down. And that'll be the final play of our first quarter. West Virginia able to enjoy that first down pitching catch for a spell. Today, through the first quarter, not big offensive numbers. We've got a combined 3 field goals in the first 15 minutes.
Well, you got to be prepared to win any way that's necessary. And we've often talked a lot about what balance constitutes and some of the other aspects of the game. It's not about can you run an equal amount of times that you can pass. It's about can you do what you need to do when the situation calls for it. It just so happens West Virginia is pretty one-dimensional in that regard. They are a running team. Their quarterback is about 30 yards shy of being the #1 rusher on his team. We showed that earlier graphic of the 3 backs all with 600-plus yards rushing. That's what they do.
First time in our ball game, West Virginia will have the wind at their back. They fake it to White. This is Gallagher. Good open field tackle. Braylon Lux immediately wraps up Gallagher.
Well, the common thread here, you know, is we've seen these extensions of the run game, right? These vertical passes don't exist in their scheme. I mean, they do, but they don't expect him to sit back there and have the time to complete them. So they're going to go lateral, horizontal, just going to go lateral down across the field and try to get the ball in the hands of Gallagher and others who has a little wiggle in their hips.
West Virginia secured bowl eligibility a week ago with their win against UCF. They've actually been a better team on the road than they have been at home.
Yeah, I mean, just that, like 5 they lost at home before that win over UCF.
Nothing much there at all. Last 2 drives, it's been mainly Jaheim White. We saw C.J. Donaldson on the first drive.
I think they're going to be content, West Virginia will be, as long as they can stay within 3-6 points here. They're going to stick to their game plans. And again, the goal was, at least from our conversation, as Neil Brown looks on and tries to find a solution here to score points, is Texas Tech is going to stay close to the reins and do what they do, but they're going to try to make West Virginia play left-handed. And the only way to do that is to push the ball down the field, score more to make them pass.
3rd down and 6. Remember, Garrett Green is a huge threat with his legs. Gone! Smoked! Terrell Tillman sacks Green. That'll bring up 4th down, and West Virginia has to punt.
Original surname Tillman was spelt with an O. We converted it to an A, but that's a true Tillman right there. He does a great job of coming off the edge on a game and a stunt. A wonderful job, too, of following that up on the back end. Ben Roberts, the Mike linebacker, doesn't have the change of direction like some of those other guys do, but they did a wonderful job on that last play.
So West Virginia has to punt the football away. Oliver Straw, Big 12 special teamer of the week, what he did a week ago. His first punt is launched. This is Jordan Brown, and Jordan Brown out across the 40. That's a return of 22 yards by Jordan Brown.
Well, what can Brown do for you? How about the little hezzy and come in here and stutter step, right? In traffic, does a nice job of allowing the funnel to close in on him, and then outside of that, just put on the speed and get through that initial wave of bodies. And it's just a wonderful job of sensing and understanding the context. I love special teams guys because of their vision. By what they do, Eric, you can tell if they're plugged in and they study tape.
Outside the red zone, perfection for Baron Morton. Inside the red zone,
how about that?
Not so much. A little popper. How about this? This is Jacoby Williams. And Williams, who's explosive, crosses the 50. Little pop pass, good for 13 yards.
Yeah, Anthony Wilson Jr., the free safety, is the one that ended up stopping him, but he almost missed him. The little pop pass, like you said, underneath. And again, if he doesn't catch this incompleted pass, and it's going to be dead there. It's not a fumble because it's the way it's transitioned to the runner.
Jacoby Williams from Beckville, Texas. You're familiar.
How about that? Oh, Grandma Ella Booney.
Not just a dot on the map. You know about it. Another first down gainer crossing the 35 down to the 34 is Josh Kelly. 13 yards for Kelly, who's had a good first half.
He really has, and they're going to try to make it a better first half here by getting the ball more frequently into his hands and using pace and tempo as a tactical advantage.
Haven't seen Brooks on this drive. Morton
Nice.
has to throw it away.
That's a smart job of throwing the ball away because Morton was forced to return or spin to his weak side. In other words, he's a right-handed quarterback, but when you're asked to turn the opposite direction, you have to either change your platform and get square and have an even platform. Otherwise, throw the ball away. Don't try to waste, because it's going to take you an extra full second to make that play.
Unless you're Patrick Mahomes.
Oh, well, that's true. You can flick it. You're Patrick Mahomes. That's absolutely true. There's a long tradition of that here at this place.
2nd and 10. This is Brooks.
Nice.
And Brooks, look at him go! Down to the 5-yard line. That's a special talent.
He really is. You know what? The thing about him, he regulates himself in real time. He's a big dude, but watch him show the vision. The captain is coming through there. He's looking at everything. He's not trying to run over anybody, even though he's got that size advantage. He can do it. I like this kid right here. He's something special, man. I'm all for not taking the punishment if you don't have to take it, Eric.
Now, trying to make the tackle was Anthony Wilson, big part of what West Virginia does defensively, and he's still down on the field.
Well, remember, they were hurting at the other opposite position. That's why Fagan had to come from that cornerback spot. And then T.J. Crandall got injured, and he moved over for Jacoby Spells, number 6 at the right cornerback. So they've rejiggered their back end, and so they're limping right now.
Wilson has had 10 or more tackles in 3 consecutive games. If he's out for any extended period of time, that's going to be problematic for Neil Brown in West Virginia.
And you just unpacked an important piece. When you start seeing your back-end guys leading you in tackles, it tells you that the guys up front are hurting a little bit, or at least not doing the job. He looks like he's going to get up, and Neil is happy about that because he's got a chance to get one of his better seasoned athletes and leaders on the back end back in the game.
All right, Spencer. So Texas Tech, you think, is right where they want to be? Maybe not. They're 0 for 2 in the red zone in terms of scoring touchdowns. What do they need to do right now to break that trend?
Zach Kitley has to real-time assess what has worked, what has not worked, and find a way to do it. I like motion down here. Make them declare defensively what you got to do, and then use some counter motion to go against it. Don't try to force it down there. Where's that tight end that you talked about? You got a 6'9" guy. Where is he?
Not in the game right now. Brooks. Down to the 2.
I'll tell you what they're doing. Israel Boyce is another guy, number 18. They're closing extremely well for West Virginia right now. Number 18 was right there on the spot. When you look at the proximity to the ball carrier or to the receiver, whoever it is that has the ball in their hand, you're going to see a white jersey or 2 really quickly. It shows you these guys have high engagement levels and they've got the athleticism to get to the party.
All right, 2 tight ends in the game right now for Texas Tech. Number 80, Mason Tharp, and number 18, John Carlos Miller.
Short side of the field, so watching number 12. It could be a corner route or just a drive. There it is. He's open.
Conyers back in the end zone.
He
dropped the football. Oh, my goodness. Jalen Conyers has had a special senior year, but he wants that over.
Well, I saw this one coming, man. So Conyers is going to slip out right here, right? And they don't defend him. I mean, it's amazing. That's the matchup problem right there. That's even before you get to the physical matchup. You got to do something when you get there. He's so big, you can't even defend him. He just drops that, man.
Morton's out in the flat. This is going to be a direct snap to Taj Brooks.
Nice.
And Brooks gets in there for a touchdown. So the Red Raiders get crafty. And Brooks has himself rushing touchdown number 15 on the year.
Brooks says, be done with all of this throwing the football. Put it in my hands and let me matriculate into the end zone. Tis, tis, you fly. Wonderful job.
I love it.
Hey, man, when it comes down to it, just run it. North and south, man. Big fella.
Statistically, the best runner in the history of Texas Tech football. You got to give him the ball. And oh, by the way, he weighs 230 pounds. Give him the ball. Gino Garcia. And Garcia now has accounted for 7 points today. 2 field goals and an extra point. 7 plays. Black Friday deals, shop deals now. Taj Brooks, he's like a metronome.
Well, he's averaging just 5 yards a carry today. But when you look at over the aggregate course of his career, if you can do that, and give it to me twice, I got a first down for you every single time. You talk about having something in your back pocket. Zach Keatley, the offensive coordinator, knows the value of this team. That's why he worked so hard to integrate him into the scheme last week. Even had him on drive routes and vertical routes in the pass game. Caught a touchdown via that way as well.
Every game Taj Brooks has played this year, 100 yards. Pretty cool.
You know, they say it's steady drip will wear a hole in the rock, and that's what they're hoping he will do against these West Virginia Mountaineers.
Garrett Green and the Mountaineer offense back on the field for their 4th possession. Turned it over on downs, a field goal, and a punt on the first 3 possessions. West Virginia won at home against Texas Tech a year ago.
Yep, sure did.
They got history on their side.
Now the season's, the all-time series is pretty even, too.
7-6. Green, longest pass of the day, and it's caught. That's Preston Fox making a big play.
How about Preston Fox back there? And that's A.J. McCarty, who plays the star position trying to defend him. He's got it eyed. He didn't have to high point it. The ball's placed right there. Nice catch.
Keeper, and Green is walled up after a short gain. Green is not huge, listed at 5'11", 201. And with all the runs that he has had, 116 quarterback carries coming into this game, that's a lot of beating.
Yeah, it is, and you can see it's evident. He's clearly limping right now, and it may not have been what with the case we were looking at earlier when we saw him kind of like gimpy. He was maybe just addressing his uniform, but I think right now that last shot that took him off his feet, he's feeling that.
C.J. Donaldson in the game next to Green.
Yeah, look at the size differential between Green and Donaldson.
Donaldson wrapped up from behind. Amir Washington.
Or Amir Washington just gobbled that one up from the backside from that right outside linebacker position. Again, he really comes with great speed from that unabated position that he's got, and he's got a green light to go get the quarterback. And believe me, when you have a quarterback that's running as much as Green does, you're going to get the green light to the short side of the field more often than not, because you don't have to come as far. There's no tight end outside of you, so that distance to the quarterback or the target is manageable.
Weird part of the field, could be 4-down territory for West Virginia. Maybe 2 plays to get 8 yards, who knows. Blitz is on, and Green goes down. That is Jaden Cofield again.
And it's their star defender. Watch the pressure from the outside here. Number 1 in space. You got a running back trying to block him, and that was C.J. Donaldson, and he misses. You know, you got a big stout guy against a wiggly smaller guy in space like that. You got to win that battle, man. Cofield
already today, 3 sacks for Texas Tech. And they're going to get the ball back. Punt team comes on. Oliver Straw had a nice punt his first time around. He's got the wind at his back. And bodies collide. A flag comes out. And there definitely was contact with the returner.
Yeah, I think that
was there a block putting someone into the returner?
No question. There was incidental contact. I'm not going to say that he was not trying to shield the cover guy, but I don't think that was intentional.
Jordan Brown's the returner who got decked.
Clear. Brown calls a fair catch. Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with that.
And
there is no foul for kick-catch interference. The kicking team player was blocked into that contact. Illegal motion number 20 of the kicking team. That penalty will be enforced at the end of the kick, 5 yards. First down, timeout.
Okay, got it straightened away. Texas Tech's going to have the football.
He's kind of tweaked his game and done some things different. I'm really impressed. I wasn't. There was a time when I thought that Cliff Kingsbury was the only solution for him. Got fortunate to be drafted by that.
Look at how quick Williams is. Like he shot out of a cannon. Jacoby Williams with a big gainer. Clearly a change of pace from Taj Brooks.
Was Zach Kittley finding his rhythm here, getting the ball on the perimeter and the edge himself, taking a page out of West Virginia's philosophy, getting it to some of those nifty receivers and running backs.
Gain of 18 yards. First down carry, Williams. That's Brooks. Very patient run.
Yeah, and this doesn't pretend too well for West Virginia because West Virginia already has 9 down in the box. And so you got a tackle that's pulling from the offside and escort right here up front. Again, that's Caleb Rogers, the right tackle, who was pulled on that last play. Impressive.
Catch is made out of the wing. It's Coy Aiken, and he's tackled by Anthony Wilson. Just going to mention that he's back on the field. That's good news for West Virginia.
That really is. And even better news, though, for as we look at West Virginia's Wilson, Zach Keeley on the opposite side, the offensive coordinator for Texas Tech, is really in his wheelhouse. I'm stacking his performances from last week against Oklahoma State, and then this week, this guy's calling some excellent plays. Now, the numbers aren't necessarily showing it in terms of points, but the way he's calling his plays relative to the compliments. Now, we can make, if we were splitting hairs here, and say they need to engage the tight end around the red area. That's a challenge.
Brooks to the 40. Nothing more. Tyron Bradley. We've called his name quite a bit. He's had a nice first half for West Virginia. It'll bring up third down. And now Texas Tech in that weird spot in the field. May think about going for it if they don't get it here on third.
This is an automatic almost for most of these type of offenses.
There it is, the 6'9", tight end Thorpe. Not just a tall guy who puts the shoulder down and lays the wood.
When you go all the way back to the Dykes days and the Coach Leach days, it doesn't matter. 3 yards is nothing to this group right here, man. They can go get that in their sleep.
Gain of 8. For Tharp, that's his first catch, was denied a catch and a touchdown in the first quarter on what would have been a highlight catch we'd look at for the next 30 years. Blitz off the corner. That forced the quick pass, errant, intended for Conyers.
Yeah, trying to get it to the big guy who will be in the slot eventually. You know, we've seen Conyers do some wonderful things and be impressive, but Morton has got a pressure in his face. He's got to get rid of that ball quickly. That's why that pass was off mark.
Catch is made, not enough for the first down. Josh Kelly. For Kelly, that is his 5th catch of our first half.
I just love the way this quarterback gets the ball in the hands of his receivers. Garrett Hollis Jr., number 1. The cornerback was sitting there ready to take out the receiver, but the ball was placed perfectly, fell forward for 2 more yards.
On third down and 2, straight up the gut. First down for Brooks. That's what 230 pounds looks like.
What we say in the hood, Eric, nick him, don't cut him. You can get it in little bits and pieces if you want to. And this key team is capable of doing it, but they can go big top as well.
Morton, good use of the feet. Nobody home. Gonna have to throw it away. And he does.
That's really interesting. You know, that's the second time we've seen West Virginia force him to release to his left, and he's had to throw the ball away. That's great defensive design, understanding where the quarterback's strengths are and where the route combinations are so that the options are limited when he goes to the weak side of the field. That's really design. That's kind of the inside the game stuff, but believe me, a lot of that is sussed out in trying to strategize to beat an opponent like Texas Tech.
Second down. Brooks picks up the blitzer.
No.
Oh, what a catch by Conyers! Conyers caught it after knocking it up in the air and being fouled.
Anthony Wilson may draw the penalty, number 12, but watch the concentration of Conyers, man. This guy operating from the slot. He's operating from the slot position and bats it up to himself. I mean, how incredible. You expect that from a wide receiver. But you don't expect that from a guy that's 6'4", 265 pounds.
Super talent he is.
Oh.
Pass interference, number 12. Defense, that penalty is declined. Result of play is a completed pass for first down.
I know some great receivers coaches wish they had concentration like this, man. The ability to go up, tap the ball to yourself, and keep your eyes focused on it and complete the catch in the most critical area of the field.
Remember, it was Conyers who dropped a touchdown just a moment ago.
No question.
He's thinking to himself, I got to atone. How can I atone? Well, partner, you just did.
Let's see how they do it, how they handle this. It's 3-on-3. The cluster underneath route is going to be there.
6'9", Tharp with a touchdown. Mason Tharp, this time it will count.
So counterintuitive again to sort this thing out. You got three guys right here, but the switch route underneath is the one that comes open, right? Again, those two guys get bumped and rubbed, and the big guy that just made the big play just a minute ago, Jalen Conyers, is the one that winds up getting the edge block. And it's a pure block. It's not a screen, anything like that. It's legitimate. Great design, but man, is there an answer for a guy that's 6'7"?
To have three tight ends, all 6'4" or taller, bunched up together. How unique is that?
And operating from the slot when they need to as well. But you're right, great point taken.
Extra point is good, and all of a sudden Texas Tech starting to feel their oats. 11 plays, 75 yards. The highlight reel catch made by Conyers, setting up the touchdown to Tharp. And it is a 17-point lead. TV Holiday Bowl. Tune in on December 27th, 8 p.m. Eastern on Fox. 11 plays, 75 yards, and an impressive formation and result in the touchdown for Mason Tharp.
I love the anatomy of that play because I guarantee you, if I'm not mistaken, I don't think any single play was more than 12 yards on that. So you look at the relatively small amount of time, 3 minutes and 25 plus seconds, somewhere around there. Look at the anatomy of how they built that. That's pretty darn impressive, and it could be problematic if you're trying to defend it.
Tortillas flying, and for the first time, West Virginia is going to try and return a kickoff, and it's a bad idea. They only get out to the 10-yard line. Well, Texas Tech, Spencer, I don't know what they're doing, but they've got 3 sacks, matching a season high. We're still in the first half.
Or they're doing what you and I talked about last night, where they're eyeing the quarterback who they know more than likely is going to end up running the football. Pressure frequently from the weak side, that's the short side of the field, increases their likelihood of getting home. That's what you're trying to do if you're Tim DeRuiter, the defensive coordinator for Texas Tech.
Texas Tech playing without important tackles, Quincy Ledet and DeBraylon Carroll. And it hadn't affected them. They played well defensively. White with the catch and a good gain on first down, gain of 6. This may be the last time that West Virginia has the ball here in our first half. And remember, they had the ball to begin the game, so Texas Tech will start with the ball in the third quarter. This is an important drive for the Mountaineers.
Absolutely. They need to whittle away at this 17-point advantage right now that Texas Tech has.
Previous play of a completed pass is under further review.
Yeah, that was a low pass. Did White get it before it hit the ground?
I think it was hands were on top of it, but the ball underneath was on the ground. But you know what? It didn't have to be that way. That ball was way low. He got it.
Oh, that's a catch.
That's a catch.
That's going to be a quickie.
Yeah. I just think the fact that it was so low made it problematic for the back.
It's not going to be as quick as we'd like because that's a long run for Michael Vandeveld to put on the headset. Location, location, location.
Yep, no question. You believe me, Chad Scott, as they look at this, the deep offensive coordinators mindful of where his quarterback is placing that ball. He calls it triggering the ball.
Yeah, if this takes more than 20 seconds, we've got a news story. This is pretty clear cut. Call on the field was completion, so we don't need to overturn anything or discern. Here we go. Now, this is a quick one.
After review, ruling on the field is confirmed. It's a completed pass. Second down.
All right, so 3:54 remaining. We will have the 2-minute timeout. West Virginia has 2 timeouts should they choose to use them. Texas Tech has just 1. Second down and 4. Full playbook available to Garrett Green.
Well, they still got White in the game, some of their smaller bodies. So in a perfect world, you say, okay, the smaller guys are in. I see the receiver matchups. You're going to go vertical. But do they have the time? I don't think they have enough time to sit back there and throw it. And plus, your quarterback's not tall enough to see. But they're going to be forced to do it.
Incomplete. Trying to catch and turn for the first down marker. Cole Taylor, the tight end, dropped it.
Now, you don't know how improbable that is for a 5'10 guy, and we're being generous to sit back in the pocket down here and have to operate, even though it's just a three-man game that they're playing inside. Those three defenders covering one guy behind it is what's problematic.
That could have been poked out there by Rodriguez.
No question.
Got that left fist in there. I think that caused the incompletion. Oh, man, is this important for West Virginia or what? They do not want to give the ball back to Texas Tech. There you go. Offense will stay on the field. Preston Fox.
I think Fox is nicked up a little bit. Yeah, he's going to take a minute to get up. He got a nice shot in the solar plexus, man. That's tough. He definitely did not have alligator arms when he went in and snacked this catch. That's giving it up for the team.
He had fox arms.
Yep. And even though it's thrown on his back shoulder, he had to literally turn his body the opposite direction. There's Lewis back there defending.
All right, Fox is up. That's his third catch, 3 catches, 45 yards. Came into this game with only 6 catches, even though he's highly thought of. Not a main target for Garrett Green.
There's Chad Scott, offensive coordinator. Old running back.
Chad Scott, like Neil Brown, head coach.
Yep.
Has history at Texas Tech. Was an assistant coach for 3 years from Tommy Tuberville. Was the head coach. First down. Little dump off to White. Tackled at the line of scrimmage. This is a frisky Red Raider defense.
Yeah, they really are. Trey Latham, the Mike linebacker, actually showed you some ability to navigate in space. You know, the Mike linebacker is that guy that's in the middle, right? He's usually bigger, less athletic, more of a thumper, but he showed you some ability to cover a nice guy.
Over the middle, and it is picked off, I think. What's the ruling? It's an interception. C.J. Baskerville rips it away.
Ruling on the field is an interception. First down, Texas Tech.
Strong hand, C.J. Baskerville to rip it away.
So you see the one time they go deep right here. This is a relative term, deep, when you're talking about West Virginia. When they push the ball upfield, if it's not on the mark, lower a little bit, Baskerville doesn't have a chance to make that play. But because it was where it was, higher than it needed to be, he's able to go up and sky that because of his perspective and take it away.
Hudson Clement was the intended target, and actually may have had it for a moment, but Baskerville had momentum on his side and ends up with the ball.
Yeah, when he torqued his body and he was coming down.
Previous play of an interception's under further review.
No, I think when they discern exactly what took place, Baskerville actually pulled that ball away from him on his way down as he turned over, and his body weight coming down, gravity, is what helped him pull that ball out of the receiver's hands.
Well, the ball never hit the ground.
No, it
so
did.
It's either a catch or interception. They called on the field an interception, and you're going to have to find something there to overrule the fact that it wasn't an interception and instead it was just a reception. Now, you can't give the ball to West Virginia.
After review, ruling on the field is confirmed. First down, Texas Tech.
I'm loving this. They're getting quick now.
They're getting quick, man. Quick as a hiccup. Well-deserved interception. That was just a great effort by C.J. Baskerville. 4th interception of the season. Senior making his presence felt today, man.
That's a big number. This day and age, man, quarterbacks don't throw a ton of picks.
Nope.
To get 4 interceptions, that's a tip of the cap moment.
But again, so you got to look at the inside game now. Now, why did you get that interception? It was off the mark. It was in the middle of the field. You're sitting in pocket. You're 5'9", 5'10", maybe, right? You're not going to do that anymore.
Morton, jump pass. Aikens got it. And you wonder with how explosive and how quick this Texas Tech offense rolls, Do you want to be this quick as they normally play?
Well, Texas Tech does, believe me that. In talking to Zach Kittley this week, he was emphatic. He said, I was in my sweet spot, man, against Oklahoma State. Matching wits with Mike Gundy, whole air raid guys.
That's enough for the first down. Kelly is finally stood up. Texas Tech with one timeout available, and they'll have to use it on the other side of this 2-minute timeout.
This is the 2-minute timeout on the field.
So 2 minutes remaining here in our first half. Texas Tech with the lead and the ball. 20-3 is our score. Back with a final 1:20. Second quarter, Texas Tech leads West Virginia, and they've got the ball. Texas Tech already with 2 touchdowns here in our second quarter. Ball spotted at the 41-yard line.
Nice.
Brooks. Let's see what they do with the clock here. Do you really go back to the line and speed things up?
Absolutely.
Well, then you're going to get the ball back to West Virginia.
Well, you don't have to score. They're going to try to play ball now.
And we got a man down. That is the senior corner, Garrett Hollis, transfer from Northwestern.
That's one way to slow it down.
Now let's get a preview of the State Farm halftime. Let's check in with Mike Hill. They had the regular season?
I don't know, man. That's just bittersweet, man.
Yeah, totally bittersweet.
Like it just got started, you know?
Spencer, since we have a moment, I have learned more about football and life and Franz Fanon and all of these fantastic things. You've made me more worldly over the last 3 months, so I thank you for that.
Well, you're too kind, and I can tell you I've not had a more pleasant, more affable, funny, energetic broadcaster in my career. I mean, it's just been great. It's been my pleasure to be with you, man.
Hollis is up. Well, thank you. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Hollis is up, and
Texas Tech is declining the option for a 10-second subtraction to an injured player with a clock running. It'll be second down.
I'm mildly surprised. I'm transfixed to this whole clock thing. If I'm Texas Tech, take as much time off as possible. Right. They can score in 20 seconds. Why give West Virginia the opportunity to get the ball back?
Hey, man, listen, kids want to play. I mean, this is the era that we're in. You want to play, man. They had 95 plays last week against Oklahoma State. They want to play.
Second down at 6. Brooks untouched into the secondary. Brooks, touchdown! Oh, my goodness! Taj Brooks is electric.
Hey, watch the inside zone here, right? It bounces one way. Brooks waits on it, shows a patient, tells the officials to get the heck out of the way, uses that free arm to balance himself, corrects downfield, a little head fake, right? Brooks Brothers, he's running in. It's a fit, a perfect fit.
That was incredible. Ty French came in. No, they're going to go for it on 2, and they get it. Wow, more of the same. Jalen Conyers runs it in, and the lead swells. That was a 37-yard touchdown run for Taj Brooks. Let's show you the 2-point conversion again.
Well, both plays were outstanding. Here's the 2-point conversion again. We used to call this play like a stagger lead, right? You get a guy offset. This is Conyers, your tight end, able to get in the end zone. So many different creative ways, but this is what Zach Kittley, the offensive coordinator, has at his disposal. Who are you going to place out there to defend him? If you put a little guy out there, he's going to run over him. If you put a big guy out there, chances are the inside play, the guy who's tossing it, can run it and walk it in. You really do not have a manageable defense against this scheme.
Conyers has now scored a touchdown running, passing, and throwing. He's got a 2-point conversion on the pitch out.
Amazing.
Swiss Army knife.
Yes, indeed.
And at the end of the day, you get Taj Brooks, the greatest runner in the history of Texas Tech.
Well, it's embarrassment of riches, and that's the reason why Zach Kittley told us that he had a blast last week against Oklahoma State. He says, I was in my wheelhouse, man. This is back old school. We had air raid. He's an air raid guy. That's his DNA. That's where he comes from. Telling you what, he's running about as much as his father's coaching track and field there at Texas Tech, man.
Good call on that. Short kickoff, fair catch called for. And West Virginia, they're getting blitzed right now. They scored a field goal in the first quarter, a goose egg since. They're down by a 25 spot. They do have 2 timeouts and 95 seconds remaining here in our first half.
You know, partner, I really can't say enough about the overall program. I mean, we're looking at the success that Texas Tech has demonstrated, not just this today, but last week. Kirby Hocutt, the AD there, has been outstanding. You know, the guy, and we can talk about these days, has had this program cash positive for a long time, and they're doing some extraordinary building on campus. He's one of the premier leaders in the nation.
Gallagher is crushed immediately. Marion Horn diagnosed the play beautifully.
Or we should call this reading like a computer. Watch number 4 with his eyes. Well, where are they? They're camped inside. He sees this play right from the beginning. He's going to go underneath the tight end, Taylor, and then makes a play in the backfield on the other side of the line of scrimmage. I'm telling you, when you study film, the formations will not lie to you.
Little dump down. White. Hurdles the first tackler and then pays the ultimate price. Got just crushed. Michael Dingle.
I think Carrick comes in. Actually, that's not that. That is Dingle. You're right. 35 comes in there flying, making a big play. Wow.
Clock stopped, 1:02 remaining here in our second quarter. If West Virginia can't get 9 yards, Texas Tech's got to get the ball back.
Yep. Now you know why they were rushing to get the score. They want to put half 100 like they did last week against Oklahoma State, believe me.
Just a 4-man rush.
It's tough sitting back there in the middle of that.
Green lost it.
It's out.
And it's recovered by.
Ruling on the field is a fumble recovered by the defense. It's first down, Texas Tech.
And I think when they review this part, you're going to see Green trying to cock his arm and bring it forward, but the defender that was trailing comes from behind him and snatches that out just as he's getting it out. See, that ball's not up yet. That's just great defense once again. Tim DeRuyter's got this team flying all over the place on the defensive side of the ball.
It was that Tillman guy again. Terrell Tillman. Tillman with a sack. And now a forced fumble. And it's Texas Tech ball. 51 seconds, 1 timeout for Texas Tech. This is a greedy bunch. Conyers with the grab.
I just love the way this quarterback places that ball between zone coverage. 2 defenders standing there. Conyers splits the difference, and he threads the needle, man.
And they can get to the line in a hurry, can't they?
Mm-hmm.
Catch is made inbounds, and then stepping out of bounds is Douglas. That's enough for a first down.
Yeah, Caleb working in that wide position inside is going to be quick to get that ball seated, looking hungry for points and receptions.
Texas Tech lost a year ago against West Virginia. They're dominating right now.
They desperately want to get to 8 wins, man. You know that's going to be a high water mark for this program, particularly under Joey McGuire's run. Nice.
Morton steps up in the pocket, wants to run. Can he get out of bounds? He does. Clock stops, 25 seconds remaining. There is a flag down.
Holding number 70, offense, 10-yard penalty, still first down.
You know, one of the few times that Texas Tech has stubbed their toe. They're calling it 70. Texas
Correction,
79.
that follows on number 79. 79.
Sterling Porche's numbers all kind of bunched up.
Yeah, the 6'4", 315-pounder, you know, Porche's just getting a little bit too handsy on that last play.
You see the number on the back of the jersey, Porche. I'm telling you, it's a broadcaster nightmare. Yeah. Is that 70? Is it 78? Is it 79?
He's going for the
on
half.
The front, it's clear, but on the back, it is not.
Well, if he didn't have the half shirt thing going on, he's kind of pulling it up. You know, like back in the old school days, we used to put it up.
Oh, yeah, show it off. Mike Rozier, Jarvis Redwine.
You bet.
I am him.
I am him.
Morton, tons of time. Caught. This is Brooks. Taj Brooks down in the 2. Texas Tech, they do have a timeout.
Work your plan. No rush. That's Neil Brown calling a timeout there.
West Virginia has called their second charge timeout at 13 seconds.
Neil Brown hightailed it down there to get that timeout. He didn't want to have 100 hung on him before they get to half. Here's the play again. Still in that inside zone look, but they're going to throw off of this one. Again, last week they had a nice pass in the slot to 28, who does a great job of coming back across the field. Brooks, this is an improvised play right here. That was either a cowboy route or an arrow route where he comes back inside. Last week they put him on a little go route or like a Y seam from that running back spot, and he caught a touchdown pass off of that. This one, he goes all the way out to the boundary, runs out of real estate, then turns around and comes back inside. Quarterback finds him. That's improvisation.
Brooks had 9 catches a week ago. Not only is it helping out the offense for Texas Tech, but it's another thing he's putting on tape. This is a guy who's going to be playing NFL football.
Listen,
and the fact that he can be 230 pounds and clearly demonstrate he can catch a pass out of the backfield, that's helpful.
No question. I remember the late John Robbins, who died recently at the Senior Bowl, told me, he says, what do you want to do? And he and Jackie Sherrill were coaching on that side. I said, look, I want to catch the ball. They put me on a little wheel route, caught a 47-yard wheel route. And a couple of years later, one of the coaches at San Francisco 49ers remembered that play and brought me as a free agent from Houston to San Francisco. Makes a big difference.
Changed your career.
Yep.
Direct snap to Brooks. Kind of get to the edge. And he does. Touchdown, Red Raiders.
Absolutely love the point you made about the ways he's been able to score and how they've showcased him, because believe me, running is one thing, but being able to catch it is another thing altogether. It gives you opportunities at the next level. Great pinch defender there, can't get to him. Brooks waltzes in for the score.
Third touchdown today for Taj Brooks. And it is a 34-3 lead. Gino Garcia for an extra point. And I got some bad news for West Virginia fans. Texas Tech's going to get the ball first in the second half.
Yes, sir. Listen, right now, when you've got so many weapons and you have the nature, it's the nature, the way they're built, the way they're created, at tight end. We've talked about Conyers, Tharp. All of those guys do something that you really can't defend, Eric. There's no way you can defend it. So when you come out in your formation, it's pick your poison. I mean, you got the all-time leading rusher right here. He's a leader. He's a captain. He showed you his leadership and his poise, the way he runs. I mean, the guy is big enough to run over people, but he doesn't always run over you. Sometimes he just patiently navigates his way through all the trash. He's a smart guy, man.
Second quarter has tilted decidedly in favor of Texas Tech. 29 points they've put up to nothing for West Virginia. This is a 6-3 game after the first 15 minutes. All right, barring an exceptionally long return, West Virginia is just going to take a knee and walk into the locker room. Picked up by an up back. And 5 seconds remain here in our second quarter. That is a backup tight end by the name of Jack Samarco, freshman from Cincinnati, Ohio. Picked up that bouncing ball.
I want to tell you what, Texas Tech has been unbelievable, averaging 8.3 yards on the 41 plays that they've had in this first half, on pace to have 84, 83 or so, and perhaps even more when they get the ball back first in the second half, as you pointed out, partner. This team has been outstanding, man. I'm not so sure anybody wants to face them at this stage of the game, of the season.
Donaldson. And that is our final play of the first half. It is all Texas Tech right now. The Red Raiders with a 35-3 lead on West Virginia. Now we send it to our LA studio with Mike Hill, Emmanuel Acho, and Chris Peterson.
Yeah,
West Virginia 35-3, getting ready to start our third quarter. Texas Tech has got not only a really good offense, they have got a distinctive offense. A lot of different ways that they can attack you. We have seen that through the first 30 minutes. Glad you're still with us. With my partner Spencer Tillman, I am Eric Collins. Spencer, at the end of the first quarter, it was a 6-3 game, really close. Second quarter changed when Texas Tech started to go deep into that offensive bag.
Yeah, Zach Keatley, the offensive coordinator, went to his bag of trips formation-wise, right, and started integrating some of those tight ends that we set the show up with at the top. And they really, Thorpe and company, did a wonderful job of exploiting it, even scoring on, extra points and things of that nature. I just think the fact that Jalen Conyers and Mason Thorpe, those two tight ends with extraordinary and uncouth size at that position, working from the slot, was just so impressive. The matchup was impossible to get. And so Gary Green alternately could not match that offensive production, and so hence they're in the condition that they're in right now. The numbers bear it out. The second quarter offense explosion is where they just lit, and I think it's concurrent with the integration of the tight end.
Most prolific offensive quarter yardage-wise for Texas Tech on the year, and that means that Neil Brown and West Virginia up against it.
Well, you made the comparison as Joey McGuire looks on early on that they weren't using the tight ends like we saw them integrate against Oklahoma State. And the minute they did, Eric, they started hanging up points.
Well, they got a 6'9" guy in Mason Tharp. They've got a switch type of guy, Jalen Conyers, who can throw it, who can catch it, who can run it. And then you got John Carlos Miller, who has been a sensational pickup ever since transferring in. He's a super athletic guy. We've even seen Jason Llewellyn as a fourth tight end come in different formations.
And we haven't even talked about the wide receivers. I mean, most of those guys have been reduced to being possession guys. But once again, when you have a quarterback that can throw it like Baron Morton, so accurate, that's the first phase of success offensively. Get the ball in the hands accurately.
And oh, by the way, they get Todd Brooks, Texas Tech's all-time leading rusher.
Yep.
So Texas Tech will start on offense. They've got the ball and the lead. And let's see if they change their offensive philosophy. I don't know if they can. Do they slow it down a tick or two?
I don't think they do it, because the age of college football where we are right now, everybody wants to play. Everybody needs to play. There's something else that Joey McGuire, the head coach at Texas Tech, is looking to do. He's changing the culture. And hopefully we'll get a chance to unpack specifics of what he does and what he has done to engender a new era.
Well, Brooks still needs 7 more yards to get to the century mark. He has rushed for 100 yards every game he's played, and that could do it right there.
Boy, if Trotter hadn't got that shoestring tackle, he hits his head on the goalpost. He's still running, partner. I mean, Brooks has been outstanding, and he's just a gnats you-know-what away from busting that one.
Yeah, they do give him 7 yards, so that's another 100-yard rushing day for Brooks. He has got 100 yards rushing or more every game this year. Only he and the Wunderkind out in Boise State, Ashton Genty, can make that statement in FBS.
Boy, Genty is just like an automatic. You talk about, you use the term velodrome. I think his timing. Busted plays, he turns them into big plays. Average plays, yardage gains, no way he should get more, he gets more. The guy is unbelievable.
3rd down and 3. Let's see if they run it 3 straight times. Oh, they do. So this is a statement right here. You just go with your stud, and they've got enough for the first down.
Well, this is Zach Keatley, the coordinator, giving homage to the senior, right? We're giving him some love. I mean, he's had to find his place in this 5 vertical concept from time to time, and he's done it. I mean, Zach has kept everybody happy, man. Even 28 in the throw game.
So 100 yards rushing for Todd Brooks and a 30-yard catch in the second quarter. Now he'll get spelled. Jacoby Williams in the back of the backfield with Morton.
Nice.
And incomplete over the head of Coy Aiken.
Aaron Morton's pass incomplete. It brings up 2nd down and 10.
Both sides bowl eligible. Texas Tech 7-4 overall, 5-3 in conference. A win today gets them to 8 wins, a bowl win, 9 wins. That is a narrative that Joey McGuire is drooling over. 2nd and 10. Quick pitch and catch. Aiken with the catch.
I mean, look, even these high percentage throws are the proper throw. In other words, where he's placing this ball is where the receiver only has to do is turn and get upfield. I mean, it's just, it makes it so easy. It's a turnkey solution at quarterback and receiver.
5 catches for Aiken. Incomplete. There's a chance that maybe that was a backwards pass, and that's why Josh Kelly jumped on it.
Yeah, and Josh should have had that. You know, there was another one that hits his hands. If it hits your hands cleanly, you got to catch that one. Maybe it pulled him a little bit back to him that Morton on that one, but should have had it.
Second down and 10. Texas Tech already has registered 20 first downs today. That's a big number. That goes off a helmet, incomplete. Let's go to Mike Hill in LA for an all-state game break. It's been nails all season long.
Automatic. Love Mike. Sarge, my man.
2-foot putt. And movement on the line. That's going to go against West Virginia.
That's going to be Sean Martin at that left defensive end spot.
Offside, number 5. Defense with contact, 5-yard penalty. Still third down.
Just the third penalty against West Virginia. Texas Tech with just 1 yellow flag against them.
Sean's one of those hybrid kind of guys. You know, for left defensive end, you would think as Neil Brown looks on that he would not be as small as he is. He's lean. He's like 218, 6'4".
Third down and 5.
So they're going 5 wide. Watch the inside receiver come underneath. The linebacker's drop is going to determine this ball's got to come out fairly quick. Nice.
Here it is. Quick hitter caught. First down. Caleb Douglas.
This is just like stealing right here, man. You know, we're hotel I'm staying at. They've got these little chess matches going on, right? And all these kids are down there. That's exactly what this is.
Another quick pitch and catch to Douglas. And this time it's a big gainer. Oh. This time it's a touchdown. Texas Tech Red Raider touchdown, Caleb Douglas. Sixth receiving touchdown of the year for Douglas.
Well, Caleb is working here with off coverage. There's nobody there, right? He pivots, turns, placed the ball on the inside, and if you don't take the correct angle, and that was Anthony Wilson, the safety, if you don't come proper downhill, a guy like this, I mean, even an average receiver can get to the end zone quick as a hiccup, and the captain right there puts his team in another position to make another great play.
31 yards on the touchdown reception for Douglas. Garcia's extra point is after the first quarter. Everything is turned on its head. Opening drive of our third quarter, 9 plays, 75 yards, 31-yard touchdown reception for Caleb Douglas. And it is now 42-3, Texas Tech over West Virginia. So as impressive as the offense has been for Texas Tech, don't go to sleep on the defense. They've only allowed 3 points.
Yeah, that's for sure. They deserve some plaudits, and hopefully it'll impact some.
West Virginia's going to get their first look at the football here in our second half. Tortillas flying. And it'll be a touchback. Now, Tim DeRuyter is the defensive coordinator for Texas Tech. Talk about a guy who has been around the block. He understands the game of football at every level.
And he understands all aspects. He's a former head coach. I remember the time when he was out at Cal conducting their defense. He understands distribution of field. He understands personnel matchups. We thought the injuries he had at the defensive tackle and the under tackle was really going to malign him today. But his guys stepped up big time, and it's in small part because of the success he's had and the structural changes he made.
We got 2 quarterbacks in the game. This is Nico Marchiol. And Marchiol trying to get it to Garrett Green is tackled from behind. Nico Marchiol got a bunch of playing time early in this year, started a couple of games at Arizona and at Cincinnati. Was the quarterback of record last year in the game against Texas Tech, and this time brought in for one gadget play that doesn't work.
And I don't know if I understand the logic in it, right? So if you go with a gadget play, you got to move the pocket. You got to get him out on the edge or do something. Maybe that's what they were attempting to do. But again, everybody knows you're going to run the ball. If you can't get the ball out and it's not an obvious pass, you might as well keep it in your back pocket.
Inverted bone. And the former Oklahoma Sooner nods his head. Gallagher. Man, nothing's fooling Texas Tech right now. Charles Esters makes the play.
Garrett Hollis Jr. Watch him butt this guy up right here. Once you see what Hollis comes out of depth from right about there, watch him butt him up. I mean, that's C.J. Donaldson, man. He's 6'2", 238. And the guy that just nailed him is about 201, giving up about 22 pounds.
Oh, much needed first down for West Virginia. They were limping. Catch made by Justin Robinson. First catch today for Robinson.
They could use a lot more of those, but again, it helps to have a quarterback that can hit those with regularity. The greatest ability is dependability. If you've got a quarterback that can consistently hit those downfield passes, all of a sudden the run game becomes a complement to what you're trying to accomplish. Heretofore, they've not been efficient in the throw game.
Green. Donaldson's got it. Tackled at the 44-yard line.
Montez Fagan back there.
Just thinking about West Virginia and all the momentum they had last week with a relatively complete victory over UCF at home. They won 31-21. Maybe the game wasn't even that close. So they come into this game with momentum. If they lose this game, go to a bowl game and lose that game, all of a sudden you're talking about a team that's going to finish below 500.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and that's a great observation because, listen, I don't care. I know UCF has had a tough year. Gus Malzahn had to let his defensive coordinator go. There's been some change there. But since I came into this game, and Gus Malzahn, since his Springdale High School days in Arkansas, came into college football, he has had outstanding offenses, and that's a pretty good team. You know, so they've struggled this year. But so for West Virginia and Neil Brown to have success against them last week, and then to see what Texas Tech is doing with the 42 spot, it tells you something about guns up, baby.
3rd down and 1. Donaldson's the big back. He's next to Green. And they try and thump it. They got it. All right, so this is trying to get back into the game, get your heads right, and this is what the drive they needed.
Yeah, this is like a stock. You know, you got to correct. The markets go up and down, teams go up and down, and so you hit reset, right? Clean the palette. Start with something fresh. So Neil's searching for answers right now. You look at the differential in terms of yards as they try to go pace and tempo, looking for something downfield. Again, you don't see the accuracy there. So, again, at some point in time, here's the problem with taking shots if you're Green at 5'9.5", 5'10". If you go down deep and it's not anywhere close, you're not taking seriously in terms of your legitimate effort to shoot the ball downfield. And so to use the expression that Chad Scott, the offensive coordinator, used, you can't trigger the ball effectively. You can't get it released. And I use that term trigger in terms of an all-inclusive thing. What does it mean? It doesn't mean just throwing the ball. It means seeing the right place, throwing it to the right place, and accurately throwing it to the right place. That's properly triggering the football.
2nd down and 10. White stood up and brought down. Michael Dingle called his name quite a bit. That's a gain of 2.
You got it.
And Dingle not able to get up.
He's hurt. Oh. Yeah. Got to walk that one off.
Young player, redshirt freshman from Charleston, South Carolina.
That's an old school player right there. He's got those loose breeches on, man. If you can see, it looks like more like knickers on a baseball player. They're loose.
So late substitution coming in to replace Dingle is Joseph Plunk, number 31 from Amarillo, Texas.
Lake Meredith, Amarillo.
Amarillo. White tripped up. And that's going to bring a 4th down. Brendan Jordan makes the play.
Here's a nice play, open field. Green is trying to work laterally, which he's had some success, the best success. When Jordan comes underneath there and just takes the legs right out from under the most prolific, I'm going to call it, probably the most elusive player that they have. And when you can take away the most dynamic weapon, Jaheim White, in that manner, I'll tell you what, you make a team that's already one-dimensional pretty benign.
So West Virginia down a bunch is going to go for it on 4th and 8. They need to get to the 40-yard line.
Pressure up the middle.
Green trying to make something out of nothing. Can't do it. Tackled from behind. Trayvon McElpine. And it's going to be a turnover on downs. 2nd time today that West Virginia has been denied on 4th down.
Well, here comes the pressure. Ben Roberts from depth, my friend. He gets there close.
Is our score. 39 of those 42 points have come since the first quarter. Red Raiders have the ball. You'd imagine they still got the foot on the pedal. This is how they are. This is who they are. Taj Brooks, a monster day for the senior playing in his final home game. And he doesn't even go down. There's 3 Mountaineers on him, and he still didn't go down.
Yeah, he could have gone out of bounds, right? But you can tell he's not really trying to get extra yards necessarily. You know, he's physical enough to run over. He stays vertical, right? Turns and spins. They're going pace and tempo still, man. They're not going to let up.
Oh, my
doctor.
goodness. That is intercepted. I don't think that ball ever hit the ground.
Nope.
That's going to be an Anthony Wilson interception.
Ruling on the field is an interception. First down, West Virginia.
Well, that's one of the rare good things that have happened. Wilson comes in, and it's triple coverage right here, man. But you talk about a dime. Now, I'm splitting hairs here at home. If you're Wilson and you're the receiver opposite of him, I think Conyers may have taken his eyes off at the ball just a little bit when that white flashed. You can look at it in real time. You can see him kind of gather himself and protect himself. He's triple covered, but that ball was a dime laid right in there.
Anthony Wilson was actually trying to separate the ball from Conyers when the ball ended up in his arms, and he gets the pick.
Well, Conyers is a big dude, right? We've talked about that, 6'4", 265 pounds. But, you know, if you've got an opposite colored jersey and you're extended and you've got a guy on your hip and in front, you're triple covered, man. You got to protect yourself at some point.
So Conyers up and off the field. Conyers, one of those seniors playing his final home game. He's actually been around the block, started at Oklahoma State, was at Arizona State, had success in both spots, but freely admits he probably should have started at Texas Tech. They really wanted him. He chose to go elsewhere, but he came back and fell in love with the university.
Well, that's one of those great positive stories right out of this new era that we're in right now with transfer portals and stuff. Guys can move, and I think making mistakes from time to time can be beneficial for them as well.
Mountaineers had the ball back. No damage done. White crosses the 15. For those of you keeping count, that is the 5th career interception for Anthony Wilson.
That was great patience by White on that play and made possible by that interception by Wilson. They got another chance to cut into this huge lead that Texas Tech has amounted.
We haven't seen as much of Garrett Green running the ball as I thought we might.
Yeah, that's a great point. You know, he's what, second in rushing on the team by like 30 yards. So in the aggregate, you'd say this guy right here is as important a runner as anyone on the team.
White close to the first down marker. Yeah, if Green was second on the team in rushing, he's not anymore. He's gone backwards today.
He's got
8 carries, negative 22 yards.
I mean, think of that. That's 1/3 of your offensive production gone on a team that's exclusively a running team primarily.
College football sacks count as rushing plays, and you lose yards. So if a quarterback sacked for 8 yards, that's -8 against him.
I mean, you go into a game and you say, hey, look, we got 3 guys all with about 600 yards rushing or so, and we're going to take one of them and throw him out the window. We're not going to have his production today. And we don't pass the ball, by the way. You think you have a chance to win? It'll be tough.
First down carry for White. Pushed out of bounds after a gain of 7, maybe be 8. Equal doses, White and Donaldson. That was the 9th carry for White. We've seen 6 carries for Donaldson. By far the more productive player has been White with 67 yards. Yeah, but big plays have been hard to come by for West Virginia. Their longest pass play was a 30-yarder to Preston Fox. Youngest run was a 25-yarder for Jaheim White. And White patiently moves forward close to the line to gain.
I think he may be just a couple of links short of that first down. And to be honest with you, just to pick up your point about rushing the ball effectively, I thought that CJ and White would be the 2 options they would use to have success against this front that's a little bit compromised.
Well, they gave him the benefit of the doubt. That's a first down.
Yep.
Green whips it to White, who's out of bounds. Interesting that you said
incomplete pass.
that you thought that White was going to be a couple links short of the first down. I think there's a generation of football fans that don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
They never bring the sticks out anymore.
They don't bring the sticks out anymore. For those that are at home, you know, there's a chain, there's a link, right? And that link forms a longer chain. And if you tend to be a couple of inches short, I refer to them as links. Yeah,
but
links.
we haven't had an official measurement today. You just kind of eyeball. That's enough. First down. But that used to be something that was perennial.
Yeah,
we're talking 10 times a game. The chain gang will come on the field and measure.
I thought that was part of the drama of the sport, to be honest with you. That whole idea of men coming out to...
All right, catch here opportunity. This is Rick Darius Farmer, his first play. He is an explosive young player from Melbourne, Florida. Just getting an opportunity late in the year. That's his third catch of the season. Only a 4-yard gain, but he has the chance to create the big play that West Virginia has lacked.
Yeah, A.J. McCarty farming on that last play, man. He made him miss an open space there. Nosedive.
3rd down and 6. Methodical drive for West Virginia.
Yeah, how about that? All made possible by a turnover. Let's see if they can get points off of that original turnover.
Caught. First down. Right place, right time. Cole Taylor.
Yep, Cole Taylor got in the middle of that zone, right, and set the ball down. Again, here's the area you want to attack. That's the grass, what we call it. It's what they call a switch concept underneath, or a mesh concept, where receivers are going in the horizontal opposite directions of one another.
Green's pass is caught. That is Farmer. Came into this game with 2 catches. He's got 2 catches in the last 3 plays.
That's a great job of Green getting outside the pocket where he's best and running with the football. You know, a lot of people think that these type of quarterbacks are best when they are on the run. It puts a little bit more velocity on their runs.
9th play of the drive. This is Donaldson inside the 30. So I'm assuming Texas Tech is starting to allow these shorter passes, maybe?
Yeah, and they're doing some creative things. That was what we call a diamond formation out there. There were 4 guys out there on the edge, and then the numbers were not matched. So Tim DeRuyter, defensive coordinator for Texas Tech, has got to sort out what they're doing. This is part of the middle 8. It seems like 3 minutes and 48 seconds, the third quarter. This is the second possession of the half. So this is really one of their first opportunities to take the adjustments from the first half and implement them. They're having success now.
They fake the end around, and Green is walloped.
So I think what the adjustment has been for West Virginia and Green, Chad Scott, the offensive coordinator, is to get him moved out of the pocket, get some mesh routes coming underneath, and force zone coverage. And there's Chad there. Force zone coverage and say, hey, quarterback, just hit the equal distance between those 2 defenders. Don't try to lead anybody. Just identify the zone. We're going to have our guys sit in the middle of it, and you hit it. And that's exactly what he's done.
Four-man rush.
Nice.
This has been an impressive drive. Now, it's taken a whole bunch of time, and West Virginia didn't have a lot of it. That's Justin Robinson's second catch. But at least they're putting something positive forward.
Yeah, and so what Tim DeRuyter's counter has got to be, he's got to come out of this kind of zone under concept and then get into more of a man scheme and make one of the guys make a play or break on the ball and try to get that ball back. Otherwise, even a quarterback that's not a great thrower or not that tall can find the distance between 2 defenders and split it and hit it.
5 consecutive completions by Garrett Green.
Single high safety look. What does that mean? This guy right here.
They attack.
That's what it means.
And it'll be a touchdown. That is Gallagher with 6.
And that's what it means, partner. When you have a single high safety and you don't have a quarter field, and here's what I mean by quarter field. Those 2 deep safeties are responsible for 1/4 of the field. And so if we can see the route here, it's going to be released on the outside. It's like a fade ball, but he comes and gets width on that in the back end. But because that guy right there, number 25, was in the middle of the field, that's why that was open. If it's 2 deep safeties, that corner is covered by that cornerback to that side.
So West Virginia got the ball on the interception by Anthony Wilson, and they marched down the field methodically, 90 yards in 12 plays. Took 6 minutes to do it. But they get a touchdown. Now they'll go for 2. Green, tackle eligible. This is Milam. He didn't get there. Oh, the all All-American tackle who has been a part of so many memories in West Virginia history. They try and give him an attaboy.
Did West Virginia have success? I want you to look at this guy right here. He is covering the middle of the field. It's a heck of a long way to cover that third. If he were in two coverage, that is cover two, a man over there, that play is not available. It was because of the selection of that particular play and the route and the coverage, single high safety, that he put enough pressure on that safety to get to that corner. He wasn't able to get there. So all of a sudden now, Chad is doing a wonderful job as coordinator, Chad Scott, of finding the matchups that marry the route combinations that he wants.
Third touchdown of the season of the receiving variety for Rodney Gallagher. Spinning kickoff. Returnable.
Oh, doctor.
And Williams cut down at the 19-yard line.
C-3PO.
If that guy played a lick of football, he'd be the Wookiee of the Year. Chewbacca. It is a 42-9 lead for Texas Tech. Texas Tech's got the ball. Last time they had it, interception thrown by Baron Morton. Maybe not his fault. Ball was in the arms of Jalen Conyers, who had it ripped away by Anthony Wilson.
Yeah, it wasn't his fault, but I would say, you know, you could question throwing in the triple coverage.
Brooks slips down after a gain of about 7. Taj Brooks, if you're just joining us, has crossed the 100-yard threshold. He has done that each and every game this year.
Eric, about Conyers, you raise an interesting point. What constitutes covered has changed when you have guys that size. So you have to make adjustments. A guy that you think is covered is not really covered if you're 6'5" and 265.
That sounds like Keith Jackson's size, but you played with him back at Oklahoma.
And Keith was never covered. I've never seen the tight end as big as Keith was score on a reverse run. 85 yards. Not very many tight ends can
Folks,
do
we're
that.
talking about the tight end, not the announcer.
Yep.
Keith Jackson was a wonderful college and pro tight end.
That's right.
Played for Buddy Ryan out in the Philadelphia, the Eagles, with Keith Byers and those guys.
Yep. Miami Dolphins.
I think he caught something like 15 passes.
All-American.
And yeah, he's All-American because those 15 passes went for like 800 yards.
Academic All-American, Hall of Famer.
Final 30 seconds of our third quarter. Morton, what a strike. Oh, what a play. Josh Kelly brought down at the 35-yard line. Baron Morton showing me something.
Well, he's a baller, man. He understands the scheme and what they're trying to do, staying alive, extending plays here. Now, that's Holmes-esque right there.
I was thinking that ball. Mayfield.
Mayfield?
Yeah, that was nice.
So kind of across the body action there. That was pretty strong.
Will we get another playoff here in the third quarter? We will. Morton, complete. Aiken's had a busy day. That's his 6th grab, and that's our final play of quarter number 3. To the 4th we go. Winning time, 4 fingers in the air. Texas Tech, they lead West Virginia 42-42. West Virginia 9. Game calmed down after that really crazy second quarter dominated by Texas Tech.
I think they actually ran out of smoke. I think that's what actually happened.
Red Raiders have the ball.
Oh, nice.
Gain of 3, maybe 4. Josh Kelly. Kelly came into this game with 80 receptions. That catch right there is going to be his 8th of the game. So factoring in a bowl game, he could have 100 catches on the year.
They're trying to get it. They've got 5 wide looks. That's all about 5 verticals. They're trying to push the ball upfield, man.
Kelly, 8 catches, 124 yards.
Nice.
Catch is made. This is Kelly again. And he's down to the 3.
You don't think Texas Tech is trying to score, man? I'm telling you, this is a beauty contest. This is the age of college football. 5 verticals. Combination route underneath. Conyers acting basically as a shield, blocking that inside defender, clearing the path for Kelly.
Texas Tech has had 10 third downs and converted a first down 8 of the 10 times. It's incredible. 1 minute into our 4th quarter.
I think they should move from this. It's a closed formation. They've got to, if they want to affect something, they've got to move.
I say get it to Brooks. And Brooks is your bell cow.
That ball was doomed from the beginning. A closed formation against that front wasn't going to have success. So you got to literally move guys in space down here, man. It's really tough to score in a compressed area like that. You have to orbit motion, bring somebody around to physically make them move. If nothing else, you get a sense of what kind of defense they're playing. If it's man or zone, you need indicators.
Conyers has come into the game. Looks like he's going to take the direct snap. The tight end Conyers is deep behind the center. You got Morton out, slotted right behind the left tackle. And West Virginia is convinced that someone moved on Texas Tech.
False start. Offense, 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
They didn't identify anyone.
Well, Jalen Conyers upset because he's probably going to take him out of the game for that play. So everybody's going to get buzzed for the movement here on the front line. Watch the little wiggle. Left guard.
I think the center didn't snap it.
Yep.
Everyone moved except for the center and the ball. Sheridan Wilson. That's only the second penalty of the day for Texas Tech. It's been a clean game. Morton back in as the center, as the quarterback. Brooks. Oh my goodness, just vicious.
There's going to be a late flag in there, but did you see at the last minute Brooks put his head down, and if he needs to return and get violent, he can do it. Man, the guy's got so many tools in his toolbox.
I think that was just a tortilla flying in the wind.
Think that what it was?
Yeah, it wasn't a flag.
It did
tortilla.
flash, wasn't it? Could have.
Yeah. So it's 3rd down and goal. It's a thing of the past, but in the first quarter, remember, Texas Tech had a hard time finishing in the red zone. Had to settle for 2 field goals. They don't want to revert back. Morton slings it. Bobble. Oh, they dropped. Oh, my goodness. Oh, Josh Kelly looking for the touchdown.
The field is an incomplete forward pass.
Wasn't meant to be.
4th down.
Well, triple formation to the wide side of the field. And again, it's just like a nice little rub route, if you want to call it that. It's not a pick. Kelly just lets this ball double clutch and he bounces it, man. He just doesn't catch it.
The throw is from the sunlight into the shaded area.
Yeah.
Can I give him a little bit of grace because of that?
Maybe you give him a little bit of grace, man. But, you know, you're trying to hang half 100. Right about this time, Barry Switzer was sitting there and saying, you want to hang half 100 on these fellas? You got to get it, man. Got to handle that one.
Garcia remains perfect. Just a 22-yarder. It's with all your teammates.
Yeah, it's not necessarily unusual to have Thanksgiving with the team, but the cultural shift that he's instituted there has really been something special. I mean, even bringing in more of a defensive mindset to a place that historically has been all about offense, right? And that has profound implications as far as recruiting is concerned, Eric.
Fair catch called for. It'll be a touchback. Garrett Green and the Mountaineer offense comes back out in the field. Last drive was by far and away their best. 6 straight completions for Green and the touchdown. Neil Brown was talking this week about how much he enjoys being around a football team on Thanksgiving weekend. Dates back to his days in high school playing ball in Kentucky. And in Kentucky, if you're playing Thanksgiving weekend, that means you've made it to the state semifinals.
Well, it means something. He's used to playing for it when it did matter. And again, in this day and age, these kids want to be part of something that's relevant, and that means playing later in the season.
Trying to set up a screen to the tight end, nothing there. And I apologize, Spencer, I should know. Back in your old Big 8 days, Thanksgiving weekend, Oklahoma played who?
Well, it depends. I mean, a lot of times we didn't play on.
Okay.
You know, so, I mean, during that Thursday, obviously,
yeah.
Playing that. We weren't playing on Thursdays back then. It was more of a pure game, shall we say.
But your Nebraska game wasn't at a specific time of the week?
It was close to that time.
Okay.
Close to that time. You know, 3rd week in October is always Texas. And in November, Nebraska was usually, and it usually meant a national championship implication.
Oh, yeah, it did.
All did it.
White. Very patient to the hole and then explodes. And for some reason, he is super hard to bring down. This is a guy, oh my goodness, what's happening? The whistle still hadn't blown. How do you allow that if you're Texas Tech? This guy is 5'7", 191.
Well, I don't know. I think it was the initial stutter in the hole. And anytime you run with pad level, you're underneath the guy. A guy can be outweighing you 20 pounds, but you're still going to have success because of physics, leverage.
6-yard gain on first down. Clock's going to continue to move.
Yeah, it's still that same bugaboo, though, partner. You got to put the ball out in front of these receivers if you expect them to do
Personal
something.
foul, illegal block below the waist, number 1. Offense, 15-yard penalty, still first down.
That's Jaheim White.
That's unfortunate. You got to be able to allow them to do something after they get the ball in their hands. And in order to do that, you got to understand coverages. You got to understand where the defense is, and every single time you throw it. You know, hopefully there's a reason for why you throw any place on the field. And when you know where people are, you can protect your wide receivers. And that's one aspect of the game that Green really hadn't matured in, and size won't allow him to see all of that.
Well, just like Todd Brooks, over 100 yards on the day, White would like to get there. He's 3 yards away. 12 carries and 97 yards for Jaheim White. Green to White.
Great job of getting it down on a check down route to White, and that's a quality play. He got good protection that time, did Green. That's quality. So he's 22 for 29, 193 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Those numbers are respectable, but the bottom line is very few of them are downfield. And I can play one safety high if I want to and put all of that extra bodies around the line of scrimmage to stop your run game. And that's where they're at a disadvantage.
1 completion of 30 yards to Preston Fox. Besides that, the longest pass play, 16 yards. So slow, steady, methodical, not explosive is West Virginia's offense today. And that rush will get Jaheim White over 100 yards. 3rd time this year that White has broken the century mark.
Yeah, you mentioned explosive plays. That was one of the things that Joey McGuire said. And I always ask coaches, give me your 3 keys to the game. If you're writing the script, what will have taken place over 60 minutes that points toward victory? And one of them was negating those explosive plays. And it wasn't that he thought that, as we look at the West Virginia player down, it wasn't that he thought West Virginia had the chance to gash him with explosives. It's just that he knew that if we can eliminate them, we would be in a better position.
Yates, a little bit of a scare a moment ago, was down in the field. By playing in today's game, he has passed Dante Stills for the most games ever played at West Virginia. This is a program that dates back over a century. The 132nd year of West Virginia Mountaineer football.
That's great an accomplishment, man. Powerful.
On 3rd down and 6 movement, that's going to put the Mountaineers back.
Number 87, offense, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
I think it's pretty cool
Correction,
that
3rd down.
West Virginia as a school has a player named Cole.
Yeah, that's
Makes
great.
sense, right?
No question about it, man.
Cosmic. So instead of 3rd and 6, it's 3rd and 11. Pressure. Pass is low. Is it scooped up?
I think Clement got his hands underneath it.
It's caught.
Yep.
Hudson Clement. So the chains will move.
Well, once again, not a great thrown ball, right? But Clement goes down and he turns his body and makes it clear that his hands are underneath it. That's a great grab. Great way to make your quarterback look good.
Coaching staff talking about the confidence of Clement. Came in as a walk-on, but has just been sensational. Now a scholarship player. Bright future. This is the big fella. C.J. Donaldson with his 7th carry.
C.J. running heavy, man. I tell you what, you better come proper when you're trying to tackle him. Kelby Vasson found out exactly how you need to.
He's actually new to the running back position. He was a tight end in high school, converted to running back just because of the body type. Man, 6'2", 240.
Yeah, and coaches have to constantly remind him to run with pad level, right, because of that great size, and it's not natural for him because he did so many other things. But he's had to grow into that role, and he's become pretty good at it.
Yates back in. Great to see. Yates, Milam, Hubbard, Malone, all seniors on that offensive line for West Virginia.
Oh, nice.
White with a spin. Oh, my goodness. Look at Jaheim White go. What a special talent. 21 yards to pay dirt.
I'm telling you, folks, you won't find a better move against a defender, Isaac White, who plays that left outside linebacker position. I mean, I'm telling you, man, he swung him around and just twisted. I mean, watch this move.
Oh, man.
Isaac Smith didn't have a prayer to catch White in that. Man.
So West Virginia, after that disastrous second quarter, they've gone toe-to-toe with Texas Tech. 8 plays, 75 yards, and again, they're going to go for it, go for the 2-point conversion. They tried a trick play a moment ago to try and get the ball to their All-American left tackle, Wyatt Milam. This play standard issue, back of the end zone, incomplete. Nice defense played by Braylon Lux.
Well, Braylon's an athletic corner out there, man. Watch him break this thing up here. Nice spin house move right here on the other end to close it out.
Taj Brooks playing his final home game for the Texas Tech Red Raiders. Texas Tech's all-time rushing leader. Maybe his final carries at home.
I think you'd be hard-pressed to find a player who has meant more to a program, particularly at the time when we're bringing attention to him, when 8 players are able to move as they choose from institution to institution, than Taj Brooks has meant to Texas Tech. A unbelievable talent he is, to be sure. He carries the ball with aplomb. He carries it with finesse when he has to, but sometimes it's just all about pure power. He can catch the football, and he's shown that in recent weeks. The ability to score from short range distance. He's been able to score from long range. Doesn't matter what you do with Brooks. He's a complete player.
150 yards. A couple of catches. This is 7 days after he had 9 catches in the win against Oklahoma State. And Brooks. That is one tough guy to bring down. Got a new quarterback into the game.
Yeah.
Will Hammond, true freshman quarterback, who's played a little bit this year. He's from Austin, Texas.
Yep, Will's getting a chance to run it a little bit, and I think that's a smart thing you want to do. I know Zach Keeley likes it. It makes his job easier as a coordinator, trying to please those guys that want to be a part of this vaunted system.
Hammond's going to call his own number, and he's got the first down. Yeah, one of the things in college football that you have to manage these days is opportunities and playing time. Hammond's only played in 2 games. This is his 3rd game. Once you play more than 4, that counts as a full year of eligibility. So this is just kind of gravy for him, getting a chance to play and not using up any eligibility.
And absolutely getting in there in consequential situations where you've got to read a defensive end, make the right decision. That's where the confidence comes from, demonstrated ability.
Pretty easy to have some confidence when you get Taj Brooks next to you. Just hand it off to Taj and you're good to go.
Yeah, that helps. And really on that last play, though, that defensive end, Taj wasn't involved in that particular play. It's him and that defensive end. If that defensive end crashes and you leave that ball in that belly, you're going to get toasted, man. He made the wise choice, pulled it, kept it, and ran, and got some good yards.
So we have now reached a season high for scrimmage yards for Taj Brooks. 166 on the ground. Remember what he did out of the backfield as well. He's got 2 catches for 35 yards. So quite a day in his final home game. And he's got another first down. Being carried for a ride is Trey Latham, credited with the tackle, but the chains will move.
And I keep coming back to the element of recency, partner. What you do last, people tend to remember most, and this is Joey McGuire paying it off. This is Zach Keeley, his offensive coordinator, paying it off. This kid right here, he wears that C on his shoulder for a reason. Leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less, and he's got it in spades on this team.
Brooks, another first down run, pushed out of bounds close to the 20.
I'm sitting there looking at him, trying to figure out somebody who it reminds me of. An old teammate of mine, you remember this name, I know you are steeped in this stuff, Gary Brown. Remember Gary
sure.
Brown? Absolutely.
He played at Penn State as a college player.
Was a safety originally at Penn State, converted to running back. Unbelievable talent. Played with him at Houston. The late Gary Brown unfortunately passed away a number of years ago. Was a running backs coach with the Dallas Cowboys. I'm telling you, the guy was impossible to bring down.
Hey, they're going to take a timeout to take Taj Brooks out of the game. This is classy.
30 seconds.
Final time at Jones AT&T Stadium.
Wow.
Well, Red Raider fans, Joey McGuire, I tip my cap. You did it right. That is how you honor one of your legends.
It's about moments, partner, and they'll remember that one. That extended pregnant pause to appreciate a guy that's meant so much to your program will live in infamy.
Countless early morning practices.
You just took the words right out of my
Countless
mouth.
practice days in 110-degree weather.
Countless reps.
It's all worth it for that moment right there. I'm told. That'd probably be your opinion, not mine.
No, but you're absolutely right. You nailed it. Listen, you don't have to have played the game to appreciate what the sacrifice involved is and what it would mean. And that's one of the things that makes us uniquely human beings. We're able to empathize sometimes, but sympathize at other times. And that guy right there, I tell you, anybody that's managed to stay through the college experience, whether it's 4 years or 6 years or a medical red shirt in those extreme cases, 7, you have done a lot.
Williams replacing Brooks. Gets to the edge. It'll bring up third down. And both these sides are bowl eligible. Texas Tech and West Virginia know that they have possibilities for bowl game. That's Anthony Wilson down again. It's going to be interesting. There are a lot of teams across the country and in the Big 12 that are bowl eligible.
Yep.
See where everyone slots in when it's all said and done.
This could be a rare scenario where you have too many teams and not enough bowls to cover all of them, and we'll see how it works out. But as far as Texas Tech is concerned, if you look at the arc of success as we look at Neil Brown here, for Joey McGuire, his counterpart, to get to 8 wins shows a natural stair step up in the 3 years that he's been here, right? If you go 6-3, 6-3, then you get to 7-4, then now 8 wins, and plus with the potential to get to 9 with a bowl win. Man, you talk about leveraging that in the state, that's pretty significant.
Well, 8 wins is a big number. Last time the Texas Tech had 8 wins during the regular season was back in 2009. That was the final year that Mike Leach was in town. Moved on and was replaced by Tommy Tuberville in 2010. And of course, Tuberville brought in Neil Brown and changed Neil Brown's life. But anyway, 2009 was the last year during the regular season that Texas Tech had 8 wins, and that's what Joey McGuire's team's going to accomplish with their win today. They're going to go to 8-4, 6-3 in the Big 12. And remember, these numbers are slightly skewed. You know, you think, well, where's Texas?
Yeah.
Where's Oklahoma?
Yeah.
You know, but
listen, they don't control any of that. This is who they play against. This is who their membership with, and that's what matters. You know, membership has this privilege. If that's not clear, ask Florida State from a year ago last year what happens when you're not honored the way you should be.
Third down at 5. That's a first down. Jacoby Williams, 180 pounds, but runs hard. I guess if you practice and watch Taj Brooks play day in and day out, something rubs off.
Oh, my gosh. You know, listen, influence. Again, I keep coming back to that word. That's what leadership is. It's nothing more, nothing less. Jerry Rice was that way. You could not be on the same field without Jerry Rice. If you're a running back or a receiver, you ran the ball all the way down, Eric, to the other end every single play and brought it back because he would.
And Williams is hit hard below the waist, and that'll bring up second down. Was Jerry Rice the best practice player you ever played with?
Hands down. And right in his hip pocket was Roger Craig. Both of them were trained together in South Palo Alto, and those hills, and there was a path that he used to go all the time. And I tried it like 3 or 4 times. I tell you, I made it, but my tongue was hanging down on my ankles, man. I'm telling you, those guys are unbelievable, freakishly committed to their crafts.
Just bleeding some more clock. We're going to go under the 4-minute mark. It's now third down. This game turned in the second quarter. It was a 6-3 Texas Tech lead at the end of the first 15 minutes, and then a 29-0 second quarter for Texas Tech. And really in the second half, it's all been relative window dressing.
And you bring up a great point about the whole momentum and the relative success that these teams are experiencing today. Texas Tech on an arc up is having releases and let's shorten away. There's going to be a holding penalty on this on the back end, but the bottom line is the arc that they're on, and conversely with West Virginia, it's going to be a tough sell, man. to get the right recruits in, to get them convinced. You lost 5 home games. You won your last one, but you got toasted on this last one here.
Pass interference, number 18. Defense, spot foul, automatic first down.
These days, one of the things you learn about these kids is we live in a world of images and impressions, and most people aren't interested in pulling away the veneer. They deal with what's on the surface, and they make decisions based on how good you played today, how good you played last week. Anything past that, you lose a kid to 2-3 years, you've lost the whole recruiting class.
Hammond wants to throw. No, he wants to run.
Nice move.
And he's got a touchdown. Rushing touchdown for the true freshman Will Hammond, getting some fourth quarter playing time.
I'm digging this right here. I don't know if you guys know what a Hammond B3 organ is, but there's a Leslie on top of it. That thing spins and turns like this. Watch Hammond turn in the end zone. He rides and mesh and gets it outside and can't see anything. He says, look, let me spin and put some sound on you, brother.
Oh, my. You got to be the only guy in the history of college football that pulls out an organ reference for Hammond.
I went to church 3 times a week. Are you kidding me?
So there's your half 100. Texas Tech 52 points on the final Saturday of the regular season, and it's bell-worthy for Will Hammond. Baron Morton super solid to the first 3.5 quarters. They bring in Will Hammond, and he leads a touchdown drive.
Yeah, look at the look on his face. You don't think he's not proud of that belt? He put that belt purposely on his shoulder. That's not corny, folks. In that locker room, on that sidelines, those guys understand what that means. And they got a little something on there called a pump jack too, right? And it's a tradition they've had for a few years now, but when they see that pump jack working, it's indicative of the culture. This is what Joey McGuire is doing and extending on that sideline. Everything is connected from top to bottom.
Number 48 for Texas Tech is now checking in, wearing number 49. 48 now checking in.
Will Hammond also checks another box for Joey McGuire. He is a Texas native. He is from Austin, Texas.
Oh, yeah.
And the way that Joey McGuire has such pride in the state of Texas high school football, I really have a hard time imagining him with a non-Texan quarterback.
Well, it gives you an anchor, right, in that state of Texas in a critical position. If you look at California, Florida, and Texas, your elite quarterbacks are going to come from those states, man.
Take a look at the Big 12 standings. This is the final day of the regular season. We've got a final. Baylor defeats Kansas.
Wow.
How about Kansas riding that roller coaster?
Oh,
my
man.
Goodness, great wins. And they finished the regular season with a loss against Baylor. Colorado, of course, that win yesterday. Travis Hunter, everyone wants to talk about him nationwide, worldwide, with what he's been able to do, both sides of the ball. It's
amazing. I mean, you look at I'm going to call it parity. I'm going to call it balance. And I don't mean it in a pejorative sense. I look at it's solid. It's good. All of those teams with 6 and 5 and 7 wins on that left side of the ledger. And yeah, maybe there's an outlier at the bottom, Oklahoma State. But I guarantee you at the beginning of this year, with the departures of Oklahoma and Texas to the SEC, would you have said Oklahoma State wouldn't have been the heir apparent? They would have been the next in line, just from the sheer numbers of it all. I mean, Gundy's a legend there in Stillwater.
Starting quarterback for West Virginia, Garrett Green still in, maybe the only option. Nico Marchiol came in for one gadget play in our third quarter and limped off the field. So don't know the status of Marchiol, but maybe he's not available, and that's why we still have Green into the game deep into our fourth quarter.
Well, last week West Virginia made good on their senior night, and Texas Tech is doing it on their senior afternoon today at AT&T Jones Stadium.
Green flushed. Decides to run. That is the rare run for Green today. Before that, negative 20 yards rushing the football. You get negative yards as a quarterback when you're sacked in the college game.
I don't think we can overlook that stat or make a significant point of it enough, because, again, he's 1/3 of what they do in the run game in their one-dimensional offense. And, again, I don't mean that to be picky or negative. This is what they do, and if you can't do what you do, it's going to be tough to win.
Green drives it. That's caught. That's some good hands right there on a fastball.
But you notice how every catch is tough. Every catch has got to be a tough catch, and the receiver's never in a position to do something after they catch it. I mean, if you're extended out like this, right, how are you going to run after that catch, as opposed to standing straight, putting that ball on his upfield shoulder like this. Let him do something after he catches it.
Donaldson.
She can do something after he catches it if you give it to me in a posture where I can catch it.
That'll be the final play before our 2-minute timeout. 2-minute timeout.
2-minute timeout.
It's all Virginia, Texas Tech. It's been all Texas Tech since the second quarter. With Spencer Tillman, I'm Eric Collins. West Virginia's got the ball. 2nd down and 6. Well, this being the final game, I want to say thank you to our producer, Max Harnett, who has been fantastic holding our hands throughout the course of the season. Director Victor Gonzalez. Gonzo, top shelf, always.
Oh, man, all of them are great. I mean, the whole crew, man. You know these guys more than I do, been around them longer. But I just wanted to say thank you for embracing me here. I mean, this is the best crew, best in the business.
I got a great spotter, Connor Schmidt. Phil DeMont-Mullen is my stat guy. He's dreamy. Judy Boyd for putting this all together, coordinating this and making sure that all the right fits. And Spencer, I can't tell you, every week, either we're talking Bill Walsh, James Baldwin, you're pulling on some Soren Kierkegaard. It has been fantastic trying to keep up with that brain of yours. Oh,
man, well, listen, it's fun. I believe that the game is an extension of life. Football is life, and that's how I see it as a metaphor, man. It's valuable. I've always known that as Jordan McGuire looks on, and he can tell you this, the red zone is not so much a place on the field as much as it is a set of circumstances that puts pressure on a team, an organization, an individual to achieve. And that's all these players are doing every single day, and we do it in life. And so the lessons I learned there, we put it in motion in life.
We do have an injury right now, and hopefully it's not much. Thomas Remack, the left guard who has played the entire game, sandwiched in between Wyatt Milam and Brandon Yates, 2 outgoing seniors. Remack's had a nice year coming into this game, hadn't allowed a sack all season long.
Penny for Neil Brown's thoughts, whatever he's thinking right now, man. It's been a tough year, and one where they've lost so many home games, and they did end on a positive note. But boy, I tell you, that state is passionate. You know, years ago I learned that if you're weak and frail in your daily lives, particularly in a place like West Virginia, people live through their sports programs, and you gotta deliver, man.
Underneath, that'll be enough for a 1st down. Clock stops temporarily. We're under 2 minutes and make sure the chains can move. And now it continues. West Virginia has 3 timeouts. I don't know how motivated they'd be to use them. We shall see. Donaldson with another 1st down. Clock moving. We are under 1 minute to play. Texas Tech getting their revenge. They lost against West Virginia a year ago. To the end zone.
Another pass high and away as Green's trying to sit back and navigate from that pocket. He's got thumbs hurting. A little gimpy in the leg earlier tonight. I'll tell you what, there's no more physically fit guy. He hit his hands here on this play. Watch him hit the hand. Maybe on top of the helmet. Yep, boom.
Oh, yeah.
His own lineman backed up into him. A left tackle moving.
False start, number 74. Offense, 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Rare mistake by Wyatt Milam.
Yeah, very rare.
Spencer, I really enjoyed watching some of the newer teams come into the Big 12.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of bring some new life and energy, and watching guys like Camp Scatabo and Arizona State. I'm telling you, man, it's just real fun.
The new players have been absolutely outstanding, and you look at what BYU has done. And again, we feature in our conferences, but if you look across the landscape, even in the ACC, what SMU has done, the college football landscape is flat. And I've been preaching that for the last 3, 4, 5 years, and people, well, no, you still got the legacy. Yeah, tradition is the currency of the game, but that tradition changes faster than it ever has before and is able to change faster because of the landscape of college football, transfer portals, etc. So the fortunes change faster, and those that are able to recognize that and recruit accordingly are going to be inserting their names among the newcomers as the musical chairs in conference continues to iterate, because we're not done with that either.
West Virginia chooses to substitute, and that allows Texas Tech to take their time and answer with the substitution. This has got to be in the end zone, right? Oh, that'll do it. Ball is picked off. Miscommunication. The ball is picked off. It's going to be Texas Tech football. John Curry seals the deal for the Red Raiders.
Well, as Curry celebrates, that's been the narrative for West Virginia all year long, right? We are not a passing team. We're a running team. As long as we're doing that, Jordan McGuire knew it. He told us as much. We're going to have success against this bunch if we can keep them one-dimensional. And they certainly have done that in the latter stages here in the game.
So the headset's off for both head coaches. We'll have a snap and either a kneel down or just a push forward. And the Big 12 regular season will draw to a close, at least here in Lubbock. Impressive win for Texas Tech from soup to nuts.
Yep.
Backup quarterback Will Hammond takes a knee, and that will do it. So, Texas Tech, they improved to 8-4, the magical 8-win mark. First time they've made it to 8 wins in the regular season since 2009. They finish at 6-3 in Big 12 play. The loss drops West Virginia to 500. 6 wins, 6 losses, a 5-4 mark in conference. Sure hope you enjoyed it, everybody. It has been a fantastic season. Big shout out to my partner, Spencer Tillman. Spencer, it has been an absolute honor.
Love you, mean it.
I'm Eric Collins. After the break, folks, we'll take you out to Rutgers taking on Michigan State.